Welcome into the Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up. The line's wrapped around the stadium. Different strengths. Mm-hmm. I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Ogeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
But a lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to.
He look crazy, Bill. Good feet on the old man.
Definitely come back.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show. To a Friday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live here on this Friday. I appreciate you starting your day, your weekend here with us. Make sure and hit that like button, share button, comment button, as we will be with you here until 9 a.m. this morning. We'll talk to Josh from Iverstines coming up here on a Friday edition, Foodie Friday, as Iverstines will be in here about 8:30 this morning talking about the latest and giving us, hopefully, some cold weather food. As it is, it's chilly out there this morning. It is breakfast of champions.
Stu already had his bowl of chili this morning.
Chili and coffee.
Chili and coffee. Coffee and chill.
Make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button. Remember, we're brought to you daily by Go Chevrolet. Shout out to our crew online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. You can shop all the inventory there if you're looking for Go Chevrolet. They got brand new cars down on La Place. And as we said, easiest way to find them is online at GoChevrolet.com at GEAUXChevrolet.com. They got a couple of stores up in Tennessee. Brand is going crazy. And daily, our phone line's brought to you by Metropolitan Health Group. Real doctors, real solutions. Metropolitan Health Group. LSU football going to square off against UAB tomorrow night. Senior night, as we've been talking about. 17 seniors going to be honored before tomorrow night's kickoff. There's also some guys that it could be their last game, might not be their last game. The COVID year has thrown eligibility question just kind of into the, it's kind of up for your best guess on whether or not somebody can come back. If they can come back, what happens? I don't know. 17 seniors tomorrow night will be honored before the game, and LSU will kick off against UAB at 8 p.m. from Tiger Stadium as they will play their final home game of 2022. It's crazy fast football season.
How is it here already?
I mean, every year it happens. I'm not necessarily surprised, but I am surprised that you look up and it is the last game. I mean, I was, thinking yesterday as I was kind of like putting Jordan's football uniform back together to send back to school, right? Like, because football season's over, so you got to like
send it to Canton, Ohio.
Like serve the stuff. You got to turn it back into the school. And I was just thinking as I'm like, getting the stuff together,
ripping
like
the tape off the
it doesn't even feel like the season even happened. It's like it's so fast, how fast and quick football season just kind of comes and goes. We talk about it for so much of the year, and it feels like for the part of the year that we're talking on, waiting for it to get here lasts forever, right? I mean, it's like watching grass grow, you know what I mean? Like kind of waiting on football season, and then like once it gets here, it's just like a lightning bolt. I mean, it's just like zip. I mean, it's gone. You know, I mean the weekends fly by, and LSU will close it out tomorrow night at home, and the closer that this game gets, I think the more it makes sense of what the point spread looks like and where it's really kind of stuck. I mean, LSU's point spreads all season long have kind of danced around. I mean, we've talked about, in some instances they've been, favorites in the early part of the week where they've turned into underdogs. They've been underdogs where they've turned into favorites. We've seen numbers kind of dance and jump all over the place. This number has stayed pretty steady at 14.5, right? Our friends over at Caesar Sportsbook, you see the QR code in the top right of your screen if you want to get in and lay a little bit on it from, just a point spread standpoint. Make sure you use the promo code FMFUL, the letter FM, the letter M full to risk-free up to $1,500 on this weekend's action. But this game has, it's really kind of stayed where it is. UAB's got a really good running back. They've got a couple of running backs that are pretty solid. They've got one that's going to play on Sunday. I think their quarterback came back last week from concussion protocol, got back into the game versus North Texas, looked pretty good, in throwing it around. I don't think that it's, that this is by mistake. I think that, UAB is a solid team with some good players, and they catch LSU at a really good time. I'm not saying LSU is going to get beat. I'm not saying LSU is going to get upset this weekend. I think LSU wins the game, but I do think it'll be a second half, competition. I don't think that, I was asked yesterday at lunch, you think we see Walker Howard? And, I kind of hope we did. I believe I asked Jacques earlier this week. Jacques was here on Tuesday, and he asked, or he was here on Wednesday, and he asked Brian Kelly earlier this season about the progression of Walker Howard. And I asked Jacques if he expected to see him on Saturday night, and Jacques kind of had the same answer of, I don't know what this game is gonna be like in the second half. I mean, it may be where you have starters deep into the game, and from Jayden Daniels' standpoint, I kind of think he needs the reps. For as good as he's played, and for as much of his play has kind of highlighted LSU's success over the past couple of weeks, I thought last weekend, it wasn't as if it was like a huge step back or he's regressing, but you did see some of the tendencies that we were seeing early in the year where you were, wondering if he was going to be able to play himself out of some of that stuff. And I thought Barry Odom really kind of laid down a blueprint that other teams can throw at LSU's offense. Now you got to have the players to execute it. And UAB, I don't know if they can do that for 4 quarters, but Texas A&M probably can from a defensive standpoint, and Georgia, without question, can bring a lot of issues to LSU's offense. So I think Daniels could use the reps. I think that, there's still some things mentally that he needs to see, get through, build confidence on. That way later in the year, not later in the year, you're already later in the year, but as you come down the stretch here and into the postseason, that you've got as many experiences, you've got as many situations that he can draw back on and feel comfortable in, right? I mean, football is nothing but a situational game. What are you going to do in a 3rd and 8 compared to how you're going to play a 2nd and short? I mean, there's all different types of situations on how you have to learn the experience of what you're going to do in that moment. And last week, when he saw some things new defensively, and all it really was, and Caskey pointed this out earlier this week in his film breakdown that you can go catch on the channel on Caskey's Clicker, was rather than the defensive end sprinting up the field and allowing Jayden Daniels to get outside, they just kind of played, they just did that mud rush thing where
rush.
You don't sprint up the field, but you just you just kind of contain. You keep him in a pocket and don't allow him to play outside of the hash marks, which he's had a lot of success running and throwing from that point. So, I think that tomorrow for LSU, they win the game, but I think
gonna be hell to cover that 14.
I think that game is going to be, it's going to be a 4-quarter, a second half fight where you're going to have to close them out in the second half of the game. I don't think that you're going to have some comfortable lead at halftime where you can start to see new faces. I do believe that you'll see a lot of new faces tomorrow because some guys will probably, outside of Daniels, I think you'll probably see some guys get some rest. Some guys that may need, a week to get healthy or, not get healthy, but just a week to rest as, games over the next 2 weeks are going to be very, very physical between Texas A&M and Georgia. And tomorrow could be physical in its own right. I do believe that you'll have some guys that you may not necessarily see for an extended time or may not see them at all. So,
well, if you take BK's word for it, I think we have the clip in there, but he talked about Brian Thomas Jr. and his, health, and he's coming back from a concussion, obviously, and he said, look, he's playing. Like, he cleared all the tests, so BK's going to at least come out early with all of the guys that he wants to see play, like starter-wise. If Brian Thomas is coming back, when you would think that this maybe could be a game where he could sit, get healthy for another week, it seems like Brian Kelly is saying, no, we're pushing our chips towards the middle of the table because we still need reps.
Well, you need reps, and from LSU standpoint, outside of last week where they played, a little clunky, and it was a tough game to get moving and get going. I mean, they've been in a rhythm. They've been playing well. They've been playing up to a standard that they expected themselves now each week. And I think from a team standpoint, you don't really want to break that. You know what I mean? Like, you don't. I wouldn't. Teams don't like bye weeks when they're in the middle of winning streaks. You know what I mean? Like, you want to keep this train rolling. You want to keep people bought in. Now, there's instances where you need to put some people on the shelf, and you need to get healthy and things like that. But for the most part, you want to keep it rolling, man. You want to stay on the
schedule.
Yeah, stay on the field and keep people, the momentum rolling to the postseason.
Because what year was it with the Saints whenever they went they were undefeated for a large majority of the season, and they lost, I think, like the second or third to last game of the year. They started resting people, and they lost 2 going into the playoffs with the bye week.
I believe it was 2013.
I think so. Whenever they were, and it became
they lost
like
to Tampa and Dallas, like bad.
And it was you go into. They had already like hemmed up the bye week, and so you go into the playoffs off back-to-back losses in a bye week, and it was kind of like rest versus rust, I guess, where you're like, I don't know, we haven't seen those guys on the field all together in a while. Like, sure, they're healthy, but where did the reps go? Like, you lose kind of that sense of game day timing a little bit.
It does seem like that.
Yeah.
I was going to say, why would they do that?
You want to keep everybody healthy because you can win.
Right.
Like, you would think that whoever you put out there against UAB, they're not worried about the spread. Like, they're just trying to get over it. Don't care if they win by 1 or win by 50. But they're just putting out there whatever they think is best in terms of, all right, does this guy need rest? All right, this guy can play. Let's see, put him in a game situation, see if he can be a player either this year or next year.
I think that was actually the Super Bowl year.
I think so.
I think it was the 2009 year, actually.
Because it ended up being good.
Are the players allowed to have any say-so in that? Like, what if Jayden doesn't want to rest? What if he wants to play the entire game? He thinks he needs it. Like,
sure. No, I think that he definitely has a say-so. It depends on the responsibility. Somebody like Jayden Daniels, who has a ton of responsibility for the team, if he's given the coach like some feedback of what he thinks he needs, the coach has to weigh that. Not to say that he's like, okay, Jayden, let's roll.
Right. If you're up 31, he's like, I want to go back out there. Like, no, coach, you're good. Park it.
Absolutely. But if Jayden Daniels is telling Brian Kelly, hey, I need as much action as I can get. I need as many reps as I can get. If that means that you want to pull me when we're up 30, I'm good with it. But until we get to that point, I need to play as much as possible because I just need to keep this thing moving. I need to keep figuring some things out. Every time you play, you learn something. Right? Like, every time you go out there, you see something different. You see a different circumstance, situation. And like I said, that's what football is. That's, to me, is like what makes Tom Brady great, Drew Brees great. Like, those guys would get in situations that they had seen time and time again, and they had kind of like gotten to a point where nothing really flusters them. You know what I mean? Like, nothing really makes them panic. And, football is a lot of the reason why you break is because it gets too intense. You know what I mean? It gets way too ratcheted up, and people just can't execute. But the more you can get into those situations, figure it out, understand how you're going to react, the more calm you'll be the next time it happens. And that's ultimately kind of what you want in football. You want to be able to have your guys in some pressure-packed situations. You want Jayden Daniels with his back to the Georgia goal line in 2 weeks and him be calm and cool and be like, I got this. You know what I mean? It's all good. You know what I mean? We're not going to freak out.
Right.
And if you look at the line for LSU, and some people take this for gospel, take it however you may, but the percentage of money that is being bet on the game
this weekend
for UAB LSU, 80% of the money is on UAB. So that could be, and while there's 56% of the bet, so more people are putting tickets on LSU, but there's more money on UAB being wagered. So take that for what it is. That could be the sharps, coming in with like,
Yeah.
$5,000, $10,000, whatever kind of moves the line a little bit. But that's just something to chew on.
Yeah, that's weird.
I mean, this is the third week in a row.
Feels
where
like it.
It's the third week in a row to me where Vegas is still
Unsure.
a little confused on who LSU is. I mean, think back 2 weeks ago. They were double-digit underdogs against Alabama for the majority of the lead-up, right? I mean, for 2 weeks, they went from 17.5. I think it kicked off at 12. I think it kicked off at 12.5.
I got it right here.
I think it was 12.5.
Was the LSU-Bama final spread. And then so they got that one completely wrong. LSU won the game, right? Mm-hmm. And then think back last week. They had LSU a 3.5-point favorite versus Arkansas, and they won the game by 3. So, I mean, like, out of the last 2 samples that they've gone at LSU, they've hit and missed. On Saturday, they think that UAB is about a 14.5-point dog. Let's see.
Like
What I mean? They're trying to kind of find out still in Week 12 who LSU is. Vegas usually has a good grasp on you by weeks 4, 5, and 6. They at least know who you are, right, from a spread standpoint. It still seems like they're kind of throwing in the dark on LSU of just who are they?
Mm-hmm.
Well, certainly look at Tennessee. LSU's only getting 2.5. They get their doors blown off. Florida plus 1.5. Take it. Ole Miss -1, and Alabama closes at 13.5. So they were all over. They're still all over the map. LSU 6-4 against the spread. It's just one of those things where it feels like Vegas doesn't know, but if you're in Baton Rouge, you have almost a better grasp because we're so close to it. At least on this end, where we've watched them every week, and it is a little bit of Jekyll and Hyde. But you at least know you're going to get some form of consistency from LSU, whether it be on the offensive side or the defensive side. When the offense plays well, they can kind of carry you throughout a game. You don't have to worry about the defense. When the offense is struggling, it feels like the defense lifts you up, and you can win a 13-10 game away at 11 a.m.
Well, I think the most confidence that LSU gives anybody, whether it's a fan, whether it's Vegas, whether it's the coaching staff or the players, I think the defense, is going to show up. Like the defense is going to have a plan.
And have a presence.
And they are going to have an impact on the game, whether it's takeaways, whether it's sacks, whether it's – I mean, think how big that third down stop was against Alabama going into half. You know what I mean? Like, if they don't hold them out of the end zone there, I mean, even against the referees in that part, I mean.
Well, you get a first quarter essentially turnover when Alabama's driving to go in the end zone, go up 7-0. LSU gets the takeaway in the end zone, flip the field, get the ball back. You get the Harold Perkins third down. Bryce Young tries to hit him with the high, and Harold's good enough to flick the foot and stop him on third down. So it's those kind of plays where LSU's defense has come up big time and time again, and they'll still let up the occasional big play, it feels like. That was Bryce Young making some magic down the sideline. Hits, 2 people are wide open. But it's those kind of plays where LSU is still giving up a little bit of a big play. I don't know if UAB has that ability, but they're going to punch you in the mouth as soon as they get here.
Yeah, they're going to be physical, and they got good players. They're coming in here with guys that some of them believe they should be in the SEC.
Tyler Taylor starts at linebacker.
Who?
Tyler Taylor.
He went to LSU.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he signed LSU with Jacob Phillips.
Oh, okay. I mean,
He was a starter at LSU at one point.
When? What year?
Like 2017.
He was wasn't he the getaway driver?
Oh, yeah, and robbery or something.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, they kicked him
while
out.
he was here?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's why
He got kicked off the team.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
3 felony charges. No big deal.
Okay.
Go on down to UAB, get your mind right, get you some playing time, keep you out of trouble, get you into football.
Sounds like a pro. Remember, Katie's in Mid-City.
Pro.
Right, Katie's in Mid-City. We tell you about them every single day. If you're heading to the city tonight, we're taking Jordan down to check out the Boston Celtics are in town.
It's going to be a good one.
As, the Pelicans are going to tip it off this evening versus the Celtics. Hopefully we can get down there a little early. If we can make it early enough, we're going to stop in and see our friend Scott Craig and the crew over at Katie's in Mid-City. They're on Iberville, as we've been telling you. You can see the entire menu, including the great St. Louis-style pizza.
Please get the pizza.
I am. There's
and
no
send
doubt
pictures
that I'm
and video.
not. Katie'sInMidCity.com. Katie'sInMidCity.com. All right,
Don't you pawn this review off on Lil J.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No.
I see your brain working
I
over
got
there.
it. I got it.
All right. This will be cute. Let the kid do
Pawn
it.
it off.
LSU basketball last night. covers the 25, which I think is very surprising. I think, we talked about it yesterday. Very early on in the season for this number to be as big as it was for LSU, but the Tigers able to overcome last night and win the game 91-62 as they improved to 3-0 on the season. And look, this is not necessarily the competition that you can get a good read on who LSU is here early on in the season, but that's coming as they're about to jump a plane here to the Cayman Islands, where they're going to play in the Cayman Islands Classic. They will have one more game before they head out on Monday versus Illinois State. But I thought last night some of the positives was first seeing Derek Fountain, the transfer from Mississippi State, the Louisiana native. I thought he brought a different presence to the game last night. His length, his activity, LSU had, I believe they scored over 50 coming off the bench as they were led by Fountain's 15 points. He also had 7 steals defensively. His length is a problem on the defensive end. But a lot like we talked about with LSU football early in the season, where you got new guys, you got new faces, you got new coaches, you got people in it for the first year in their roles. I think you see that with LSU basketball. I still think that they're trying to find their way of just the chemistry angle of just learning to play together, learning who they are, learning what strengths and weaknesses each other have, and over the next couple of weeks, I think you'll see that start to, really refine itself. I mean, you'll start to see the teams start to come together and figure out who they are. I think they still have some parts that they're trying to figure out, rotations, minutes. But last night, 91-62, they win the game over UNO. And as we said, I thought that the high point, at least for LSU, was seeing some of those new guys make impacts. Derek Fountain, as we said, played 17 minutes. Sean Phillips is a different type of, size, length, that you can do some things with. He's a big 7-foot rookie. I don't know what their plans are with him, and I don't, he's probably not necessarily up to play just yet, just from a physical standpoint. But they are, they've got some real size on this team.
Justice Hill, he scored double points for the 3rd straight game. I mean, he's awesome.
Double-digit points?
Yeah.
Double points.
Double points.
Did I say double points?
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's rocket shot, 3-point shot.
He's another one that I'm anxious to see how he translates to the league. Mm-hmm. A lot of these guys that have come in and had some success here early on, guys like Justice Hill, guy like KJ Williams, Trey Hannibal, some of these guys that have come in and transferred. Not that I'm disrespecting the lower level basketball at all. I know that they, specifically in basketball, the levels don't have as much of a fine line as they do in football, right? I mean, there's a huge discrepancy between some of the football heavyweights and some of the lower level football schools. In basketball, I mean, we see it in the tournament all the time, right? I mean, teams, like Lehigh are pick one, are constantly upsetting and taking some of the blue bloods to the final round. They'll have them on the ropes. So they can play at that level. I wonder, the guys that came over from Murray State that have a huge part of this team, right? With Hannibal and Williams and Justice Hill, and they have shown that they can play well early on. I wonder how those guys translate to the league when the competition really kicks up. And like I said, it's about to here with the Cayman Islands Invitational. I think that you'll really start to figure out what type of players those guys are to make it through the long haul.
Good Lord, murderers row when they get into the SEC.
Yeah.
Start off with Arkansas, Kentucky, A&M, who's going to be good. Florida, always a little bit of a competition. Alabama's ranked 18, and then Auburn, and then Tennessee, and then Arkansas again, and then Texas
Jeez.
Tech.
Jeez.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
Welcome
that's
to
gonna
the
be
SEC,
test,
Matt
yeah.
McMahon.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! Sorry, buddy.
He's ready. He's ready.
They better be.
They're gonna find out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
here.
you'll find out.
You got time.
You'll find out early on what LSU has in conference play, and then next week in the Classic too. They will figure out who they are.
Why do they do it in the Cayman Islands?
So they can launder money.
Just holiday.
That's
I mean,
that's what it makes me think of, honestly.
Yeah.
It seems
I don't,
shady.
I don't know
Anything there
why
seems
they do it, but I
suspect.
mean, this is
That was Will Wade's favorite tournament of the year.
This is annually in college basketball. You see these holiday classics. I mean, the Maui Invitational is very,
I'll go to that.
famous for. I've been to that. It's incredible.
have?
Yes, we went with LSU basketball in 2007, and Tasman Mitchell broke
Squeeze
his
another
foot.
year out on staff.
Tasman Mitchell broke his foot on that trip.
Oh,
And James Harden was playing for Arizona State.
really?
And him and Marcus Thornton went at one another like Saturday morning in these. It was
9 a.m.
It was
was
the
that?
finest piece of basketball experience I have ever had. First off, you're in Maui, right? I mean, the
It's awesome, baby.
Yeah, it's
it is
okay.
unbelievable. It is. I mean, Maui is a
Should live here.
incredible place, barring the plane flight, right? Which is
It is a
13
horrible
hours.
flight.
I mean, it's a terrible flight. But once you get to Hawaii, bro, Hawaii is just such a different place, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is.
Never been either.
Well, it's great because
Really?
then there's no language barrier or anything, but you
No.
still feel like you're away and out
Right,
of
I
the
mean,
country.
you're
still in
you
America.
still get the same TV stations. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember it was
still the
the
same.
Sat-
ESPN's 35.
the Saturday morning. The Saturday morning that we were there, it was the Saturday that LSU played Ole Miss and Trendon Holiday took back the kickoff,
Wow, yes.
and we were in it. The game was on at 9:30 in the morning.
How's your day going?
I mean, it was you'd be up, and I was it was
Gotta watch LSU.
football. I was like, this is
Awesome.
unreal, man. Illinois was there. Michael Jordan's son was playing. Jordan was playing 36 holes of golf every day. He'd come sit in the corner of the gym with
Hates
his
his kids.
bucket hat on, with a cigar in his mouth.
Jaundice.
Hated here.
Yeah.
Play the
But
play golf.
It was
For you to be
awesome,
there,
dude.
yeah.
It was awesome. Marcus Thornton hit a game winner versus Arizona State, in the corner, and forced the game into overtime. And him and James Harden, I'm telling you, it was back and forth. I mean,
James Harden with the long sleeves underneath, no
And
beard
no hair.
really. Yeah.
and no hair. He had a shaved head.
And
That's
barely the
weird.
beard, and then
Right.
he
never
would rock
seen him
the
like that.
Georgetown sleeves underneath the jersey.
It was
I need to see
nasty.
that. That's
Dude, it was
weird.
awesome.
The long.
He'd wear
white
the
tee.
he'd wear the long the
and you would play at
t-shirt.
you would play at 10 in the morning, and you would be done at noon, and then the rest of the day, I mean, you're just in Maui,
Maui.
bro. I mean,
go
it was
surfing.
it was unreal. It was unreal. And then you leave on Thanksgiving Day. I mean, the championship is on Thanksgiving Eve, and LSU got bounced after Tasman broke his foot. I mean, LSU was just a totally different team. But it's an incredible holiday, cool getaway trip. I've never been to the Cayman Islands or some of the other ones, but the Maui Invitational is, if you're a college basketball fan, if you have the means to do it, if you are looking for just a cool, different experience, and not only that, you see incredible games at this part of the season.
Not just LSU.
Yeah, right. I mean, there is matchups that you're man. I mean, even right now. I mean, some of the early season matchups like Michigan State and Kentucky going into double OT. I mean, there is. I know nobody cares.
No.
And nobody is paying attention. And I mean, college basketball is kind of just way, way off the radar right now. But if you're a college basketball fan, which there is a lot of us, down here in this part of the world, this time of the year is pretty cool because you get really good games, you get really good matchups, and then I mean, it's you can be you can be in Hawaii, while you watch them.
Cayman Islands.
Yeah,
All
right.
I think of is
Over
forgetting
Thanksgiving?
Sarah Marshall when I think
I
of
know,
Hawaii.
I know.
Because
That was a good one.
that's how I would be on vacation. I have no idea what I'm doing
That
here.
was a good one.
I guess I'll learn how to surf.
Yeah.
Guess I'll get extra rum from the bartender who's gonna hit me in the face later. Make some friends on the island.
Are they there over Thanksgiving holiday, the team? They're playing on
it'll
Thanksgiving.
be similar to that. Like they'll leave before, and they'll probably like return on Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Like usually those tournaments are over
Mm-hmm.
by either Thanksgiving Day or like Thanksgiving Eve.
Yeah.
Is usually when you see like the final matchup, the championship games of the tournaments. I don't know. You know, LSU here early on, we'll see. You know, I mean, I think that you're still kind of in a we'll see mode about where they are, who they are. You know, once they learn how to play together, once they learn who their rotation's going to be, what's going to be the minute breakdown. I think, all of that will have much more clear indicator of who they are. To me, right now, they just look like a bunch of really talented guys playing together for the first time.
Yeah, but each game is a little bit better.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, and that's kind of the point of right now is building that chemistry and kind of, figuring out who you're going to be, what the identity of the team's going to be. All right, so this UAB LSU game, as we've said, this series is kind of wild, man. UAB LSU 1-1. They've met twice. This will be the third time that they match up, all three of them in Tiger Stadium, and all three have had some pretty crazy storylines to them, right? And if you've been an LSU football fan for the last 25 years, which has kind of been I can remember the last 25 years of being an LSU football fan. I remember being at both of these games of both of these UAB matchups, and the one in 2013 was much more of an easy win for LSU. But if you recall that night, that is when Odell Beckham brought the missed field goal back 108. As deep as the football field is, he had his heel on the back line of the field, caught a missed field goal, and then just goes OBJ and doesn't get touched. I mean, the beautiful part about that highlight is if you watch it from start to finish, he never even gets touched on a football field, and he shows off just kind of like how better of an athlete he is. I mean, he puts his foot in the ground at about the 15-yard line and decides to get outside, and he is gone. I mean, this is pre any surgeries for Odell. I mean, this is him at the prime of his athleticism. And when he turns the corner, his running style and just how fluid he looked when he would open it up and sprint on a football field will take you back. I mean, if you go back to his rookie year and go back to like his second and third year highlights, there's only about 3 or 4 guys in that league today and every single year that can catch a slant route deep in their own territory and take it to the house. And Odell was one of them back in the day where he could catch a slant route at his own 15-yard line and take it 85 and not get touched. If you go back to his Cleveland Browns first game, or I think his first primetime game in Cleveland, Booger McFarland's on the call on Monday Night Football. They're either playing the Jets or the Giants in New York. He catches a slant route on his own 10-yard line and takes it to the house and doesn't get touched. People may see that highlight, look at it, and be like, man, that's incredible. That's an NFL football field where everybody out there is running 4-3, 4-4, and is alpha running after you, trying to break you. And Odell was running through them like they were a peewee football team. But that was the 2013 matchup, right? The 2000 matchup was one that I think we all can go back to and remember. And this is the last time, this was the time that LSU lost to UAB at the end of the game, 13-10. And this was really kind of what propelled Rohan Davey into the starting quarterback role. And the magic really started to happen for LSU under Saban after that happened. I mean, after that night, there were still a couple of times. I can remember the Ole Miss game in like 2002 where it was like people were like, what's going on? But I mean, for the most part, after this UAB game in 2000, LSU's football program took off like a rocket ship to success. The following weekend, the next weekend, Philip Fulmer, Tennessee, the reigning national champs were in town to take on LSU. A game on ESPN, Ron Franklin and Mike Gottfried on the call for you that night. Adrian Karsten working the sidelines. Rest in peace. But, I mean, it was an environment and a night that you could feel it. If LSU was going to win, they were going to explode that night. And it happened. But if you just rewind 7 days earlier from that night in Tiger Stadium when Tennessee was in town and they get the win on national TV, UAB was in town and Josh Booty throws a horrible pick six at the end of the game to give UAB a 13-10 win. I mean,
wasn't a pick six, right? It was he threw a pick and they kicked a field goal at the end of the.
Was that it? Yeah.
Sorry,
but that was. I mean, like the boo birds were out. People were questioning whether or not Nick Saban was the guy. They wanted a quarterback change. I mean, it was a lot of what LSU fans up to that point had been used to seeing. And a lot of the mindset was, here we go again, right?
They had just expanded the stadium.
Can't win the big. Yeah, they had just finished expanding the stadium. They had just paid Saban $1 million. I mean, that was a huge deal. I can't illustrate how enormous of a story in 2000 paying Nick Saban $1.2 million was in the college football world and for LSU. I mean, there were only two schools and coaches at that time making over $1 million, both in the state of Florida. Bobby Bowden and Steve Spurrier. Nick Saban was the third coach in college football history to make over $1 million. Now, after he broke through, you started to see it happen on campuses around the country and specifically around the league because people started to see, once you pay attention to football, what it can mean just for the for the overall success of the university, and what it can mean for expansion and money and all of the stuff that successful program with football brings a college campus.
Speaking of, this just came across the old ticker thanks to the chat. Ole Miss offered Lane Kiffin a contract extension.
Doesn't matter. Yesterday.
I know it happened yesterday, but
It doesn't matter because Kiffin could sign the extension. You know what I mean, for all that matters. But he's going to take this Auburn job. It seems like it's trending towards him taking this job. And
what did Ole Miss offer him? What was
it? Didn't matter.
It say? I don't think it even
yes,
said.
the new contract would raise Kiffin, and this is all, I just pulled this off, supertalk.fm from Ole Miss.
Yeah.
According to Cross, the new contract would raise Kiffin's salary by around $2 million. Kiffin is currently the nation's 11th highest paid coach with a base salary of $7.25. That does not include incentives. I think you're looking in the $9 million range in terms of annual average, what Ole Miss has offered.
Ole Miss can't touch it.
And Ole Miss
in the state of Mississippi, you can't sign contracts longer than 3 years, which I think is a negotiating piece that is used against the state, especially with their state workers and football coaches. Nobody knows that better than John Cohen, who is now the Auburn athletics director, as he was on the job at Mississippi State for a couple of years after leading the baseball program up there, and in talking to people that are close to the Auburn situation, this seems like this is a done deal. Like, it seems like the people that are in the know at Auburn believe that Lane Kiffin's going to be the guy, and at this point, it's just it's a matter of when they announce it.
Mississippi people are fighting the hell out of that, though.
Yeah, I mean they can.
They're in heavy denial.
They can, but I mean, after the Egg Bowl, he's going to jump on a private jet.
That's what I think too.
He's going to go to Auburn and eat
I don't
this
think
deal.
he's going there.
You don't?
I don't understand the Auburn
money.
And I get that, but they're up your ass every 24/7. You can't coach.
If you don't believe that Lane Kiffin is going to walk into that room and say, guys,
what do you think Gus Malzahn did?
Yeah, but he didn't have the cachet.
He won a national championship.
I'm just telling you that.
That's what I'm saying. What's the point of going over there if I win and you still are trying to tell me how to do my job?
Lane Kiffin's going there because he can win a national championship. Mm-hmm. He cannot win a national championship at Ole Miss. He knows that. You can throw as many resources as you want at Ole Miss football. You can give me NIL deals. You can give me facilities. You can give me boosters. You can give me everything that everybody else has. But nobody is going to really take Ole Miss football that serious because they've never been to the SEC Western Division. They've never been to Atlanta. They're the only Western Division team that has not been there. And from the scope of a competitive standpoint in the league, they can't win a national championship in Oxford, and that's how Lane Kiffin looks at it, and Auburn has. They've won one within the last decade. They've got the resources that he believes, and really and truly to me, it's the recruiting ground, which is the difference, right? When you're settled in Northwest or Northeast Alabama, and you've got Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Louisiana on your recruiting radar, you're getting a different type of player at Auburn than you're getting at Ole Miss, right? So I think that's what Lane Kiffin sees. I also believe that Lane Kiffin is going in there with a clear understanding of, I'm not dealing with Mr. Yellowwood. I'm not dealing with all the yahoos over here who think they can tell me who needs to play and who I need to hire. If you're bringing me in, I'm going to do it my way. And that would be the only way I believe that Kiffin would take any job. Not just the Auburn job. And, yeah, are things a little bit more thick politically at Auburn than other schools? Probably so. But from a football standpoint and a management standpoint, there's no way that Lane Kiffin's going to be steered by anybody in how to run the program at Auburn like people and coaches that have been there before. I don't think that's the way that he's going to operate. And I also believe that that's the circumstance that John Cohen took the job under. The athletics director of, if you're bringing me in to run the athletic department, a lot like Scott Woodward came in and told the politics of LSU when the politicos were running F. King Alexander, Joe Oliva, and crew. And this place was in flames. It was a disaster because there was just too many chefs in the kitchen, right? When Scott Woodward agreed to take the job, he said, yeah, I'm going to come, but here's the reasons why I'm coming. And here's what's non-negotiable. You're going to get me a war chest of money that I can go get whoever I want to bring in. If I want to hire Kim Mulkey or if I want to hire Brian Kelly, I don't need to ask anybody whether or not I can do that. The other stuff is, get all of those chefs out of my way. I'm the one in the kitchen that's cooking all the meals. And if y'all don't like what y'all are eating, then don't bring me in. And I think that's what Cohen's telling the Auburn faithful, and I think that's what Kiffin's telling Cohen. You better have that crew in line up there and let them know, I'm not doing anybody any favors. I'm not scratching anybody's back for Auburn football to be successful. They're going there to win national championships, and he wants, if you're Auburn, and what's your biggest thorn? Who's your biggest thorn?
Alabama.
And who?
Nick Saban.
Who's Saban's biggest thorn? Who's a guy that would love to at least just meddle with Saban and let him know he's there? He tried to get in that Jimbo fight from Oxford, and nobody would pay attention to him. If he got into that Jimbo fight with Saban while he's sitting at the Auburn head coaching desk, much more people are saying, man, the Auburn coach is like fanning the flame of the Alabama turmoil, right? And that's something that Kiffin will gladly do with a smile on his face 365 days a year. You know who's going to love that? The War Eagle Nation. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he is going to be their ride or die. He's going to be their soldier. He's going to be the guy that they are behind, because not only is he bringing them a certain reputation to their program, he's not intimidated by Saban.
No, he's not. But it also comes with when you say there's a clause in that contract where you can talk all the shit you want, but if you keep getting your face beat in, like, at some point your fan base is tired of hearing it. Like, Lane, go win us a football game. Stop tweeting. Stop talking into a microphone. Like, that's what happens. He's able to get away with it at Ole Miss because nobody expects anything from him. He just keeps rattling off 10-win seasons.
10 wins.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying. He does it at Ole Miss, but like you said, Ole Miss is such a, I guess, step down from this Auburn tier, which I don't believe exists, that it doesn't bother anybody because it's Ole Miss. But once you get into the real game at Auburn with Alabama and you start poking the bear and you keep getting your face kicked in, like he has been by Alabama the past 2 years, where they're competitive, but you're not winning, you can talk as much shit as you like, but people are going to get bored by it. Like, you don't come into a program, beat your chest. You saw it with Ed Orgeron, where it's like, okay, he wants to win this game badly. Cool, win. That's what it's going to turn into.
And turn that program around.
He can recruit, but I just don't see the difference between Ole Miss and Auburn in my mind is Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
Like Lane Kiffin would be doing the exact same thing at Auburn.
You know who's the one that knows that the most?
Lane Kiffin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But why would you want the problems of Auburn? Like, I know they're doing this $90 million expansion. They're doing all this stuff. Right.
They've got the money.
But there's not been a coach yet who's been able to go in there and be able to control
Kiffin
the
could
power
be,
of
Kiffin
the powers
could be
that
looking
be.
at
He loves a
Auburn
challenge.
as another stepping stone.
Yeah, I think he wants to be at Alabama.
He could be, or just anywhere else he wants to be. He may want to go back out west. He might want to go to UCLA. He might
5 years, he can
want to
come
go to
to LSU.
Oregon.
Well,
He might
think
want
about
to go.
how he can recruit in this NIL world. He hasn't been able to do it at Ole Miss because they don't have the money for it. NIL is dead there. So at Auburn, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah,
for
and
him.
now you're recruiting in-state against Alabama, which is always going to be a thing. Like now you're going toe-to-toe with Bama in recruiting in that state and in the states around it. Where Mississippi, you can pluck talent from, which they have talent, and they never leave Mississippi.
Yeah, but he doesn't have that premier talent. Who was the wide receiver from Mississippi 2 years ago that he scratched and clawed and LSU won with? The guy was blowing up the first two games of last season. Deion Smith.
Yep. Not even playing football right now.
That's Lane Kiffin was driving that guy around in a Rolls Royce all over Oxford. He was rolling out the red carpet for him. He was the best player in the state of Mississippi. And the guy was like, I'm going to LSU.
And guess where he is now?
I want to go to LSU out of football. But you didn't know that then. Lane Kiffin wouldn't have been driving him around in the Rolls if he figured he would have been out of football in 2 years. But the point of the story is that Ole Miss, you can court the highest rated player in the state. And you can do whatever it takes in your mind to show that Ole Miss is different than the other schools. But when it comes down to it, the big dogs in the league, LSU, Auburn, Alabama, Texas A&M, Georgia, they're going to get the dudes they want. And the ones that aren't, the difference between the haves and the have-nots in the league is a fine line. And Ole Miss, Mississippi State, even Arkansas to a degree, Tennessee for a while was sitting on that side of the line. It's hard to jump back over. Auburn's on that side. Auburn's more comparable to LSU than they are to Ole Miss.
Yeah, for sure.
And Auburn to Lane Kiffin is probably a sleeping giant. He's probably looking at it saying, look, I'm going to go in there, dodge the bullshit. I'm going to step through the landmines of BS because this is going to be Kiffin, it was crazy. They were doing an ESPN Game Day piece on him 2 months ago. He walked through the Grove. That was the first time he'd ever seen it. He says it on the show. He's like, this is the first time I've ever been to the Grove. The guy's like, what the hell do you do? He's like, I just stay in my office and I go home. He's like, what do you mean? I've never been here. I mean, like, he's not going to dive into the tradition of the Plains.
No.
He's going to hunker down in that brand new $100 million facility, get players and win games and piss Saban off. Hey, Lane, sign right here. Here's $100 million, buddy. You know what I mean? Don't think that Mr. Yellowwood and Reigns at Apple won't say, how much does he want? I mean, in the Auburn CEO, the Apple CEO from Auburn,
he's an Auburn
Reigns,
graduate,
yeah. I mean, like, money is no object. The guy that the Yellowwood guy, I forget his name, man. But I mean, he runs Auburn. So I think that Kiffin can win there.
And then he moves to Alabama when Saban retires.
Pisses off all of Auburn one more time.
Yeah, why not? That's his brand.
I'm going to Alabama.
We'll see, man. Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by RMB Builders, Rhett Bourgeois and RMB Builders. You can find them on Instagram. They got all types of stuff happening on Instagram. Their Instagram's on fire, man. Check out all the projects they got going on. New construction in new neighborhoods, whatever you're looking for, they got it for you on Instagram over at RMB Builders, rmb-builders.com. Brand new homes, reconstructions, remodeling. If you got some commercial work for them, they're commercially licensed over at RMB Builders. Check them out, rmb-builders.com, rmb-builders.com. Hit them on IG and tell them you heard it here on the Culotta Show. We're back with the second hour coming at you here, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
We're sitting in the dugout.
So funny you say that.
And Pelfrey is not pitching today, but he's in full uni, he's turfs. and he's standing up on like the
First step.
fence, like whatever, just like this, watching the game, and we start talking about, you know, pissing your pants, like something like whatever. And he was like, "I'll piss my pants right now." We're wearing,
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, "I'll piss my pants right now." No, you won't. Yeah, how much money do you give me? So we gathered up like however many people were in there. I think it ended up being like $2,000 total. Like,
I pissed my pants for $2,000.
And
100%.
so he goes in there, and he's watching the game, and he just starts pissing in his pants. Gray pants.
Yeah.
So you see it going down his pants. It's long pants going into his turfs. And he's just going into his turfs. He takes his turfs out and dumps out the pee outside on the warning track, on the dugout. And he just puts them back on, and he finishes the inning. He waits till the inning is over with to leave. And so he's watching the whole inning with piss in his pants. And everybody is dying laughing. Manager's laughing. Everybody's laughing. He gets up out of it and walks to the dugout, pee all in his pants, in the gray pants. It was awesome.
I remember telling them, hey, listen, my job here is to make sure that we bring, you know, big time football to a small town environment, right? And so you see on you know, movies sometimes about the way a town reacts to the football program and what it means to everybody, and that was the hopes and dreams that I had for the place. And so our kids take a distinct responsibility in wearing that Z on their helmet. It means a lot to them. And then on the flip side of that, our community does a tremendous job of supporting our program, supporting the athletic department, supporting our school as a whole. And there's really a great relationship there that's a lot of fun to be a part of.
Thank you for the access, man. Looking forward to tonight. We'll talk soon.
Coach, wait, before you go, fix your hair again one more time.
Oh, look at him.
Let's go.
Yes.
Here.
Look at him.
What do you think about that?
Game day,
What do you
baby.
think about that?
Game day. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it, man. Great to see you. Thank you.
You too, guys. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.
All right, man. There he is. There he is. My guy. David Brewerton checking in. What does Harold Perkins do for this defense? What does he allow you guys to do?
Yeah, Perk, man, he's just so raw, man. Like, all he know how to do is make a play. You know, but I love him. He brings a certain type of juice to the defense. You know, and he's right alongside of me on the edge. He knows how to rush the edge. You know, as a young guy, that's very valuable to the defense, being able to rush the edge. You know, making the quarterback step up. But yeah, they put him everywhere. You know, middle linebacker, outside rusher. You know, maybe sometimes he's gonna be in the drop. So he's very versatile for our defense.
Question in that game. You're listening to the Jordy Culotta Show live on YouTube. Catch it every day, 7 to 9 a.m. wherever you have internet access.
Oh, my guy, the host of Mac and Cube.
You said you wanted me to close it out.
I listen to his pod every day on WJOX 94. I thought I was going to beat Charlie. I didn't. You were fantastic as always. Have a great call in Missouri. I'll see you soon, man.
Thanks, man. Good
Later.
talking to you, Jordy.
Always. There he is. Cole Kublik, the absolute best. Don't overthink it, ABC. When you move to a primetime slot in the SEC, is getting that billing, make this man the color commentator. He's the absolute best.
Ooh, I mean, what a pro.
What a pro.
Hi, this is Dan Canterbury. Join myself and the legend, Coach Skip Burtman, for Hold the Rope Tuesday nights on YouTube. You can go to @HoldTheRope, Skip and Cano. Skip, tell them what we do.
We've got a lot of education. We've got some people that can tell you a lot about a lot of things. In the area of sports, we have a lot of entertainment. We got a lot of energy putting this in. I think you'll like it.
So join us for Hold the Rope.
What a moron. He had Odell Beckham back on the 2013 UAB field goal block. He had him back there to try and goaltend.
Block it.
Block it.
He wanted him to block it.
He looked, dude.
What if I catch it and just house it for you?
Odell makes him look like a genius.
I don't think you can do that.
Yeah, don't. You can't return this. You can't return a field goal, but you can certainly block it.
Is it Leslie or Lester?
It's Leslie.
I think it's Leslie.
What's his middle name? You should know.
I should.
You should know.
Sworn lover.
Never loved.
Never loved.
Never
Got a
loved.
picture together.
Never loved. Yeah, put the smile on.
He signed it for you.
Crooked smile.
To the best radio host in all of Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
That's what he said?
Leslie Miles.
Nice.
He used to troll me when he used to come on the show. He'd call me Gordy.
Edwin is his middle name.
Edwin.
Leslie Edwin.
Wow.
I mean,
Odell was gonna block this. I don't know which
Coach,
color.
Odell was gonna block this.
Smith.
That was Lamine Barrow in 18.
That was Lamine Barrow.
Lamine Barrow, that's right. Lorenzo
A
Phillips.
lot of celebrating for UAB.
Hey, Jeremy
Well, they
Hill.
just did something that's never been done.
He ran back
a field goal. Give me that head. Play the music.
I mean,
But
Menberger tore them apart, though.
in a perfect world, Odell swats that from the full goal post, and it's just a batted ball.
Yeah, right. It was a great block by Odell there before half.
The fact that he admitted that instead of saying like, "Oh, I had field goal return on," he was like, "No, I wanted him to goaltend it."
I think yesterday was the 10-year reunion of the kiss her on the lips press conference.
If she's a girl.
If she's a girl.
Have a great day.
That was an Odell highlight. That
That
was an Odell punt return against Ole Miss.
There
We were
isn't
just
a guy
talking
in
about
the locker room.
What a game! That's that one, isn't it? When he comes to the podium and he's just as shocked as anybody that LSU won.
He is a fan.
He's got the best seat in the house.
He is as if you have pulled like Al from section 340 down and been like, "Yo, Al, we need you to do the post game press conference.
Take these.
Use these headphones right here and tell us what you think about the game."
What a game!
Oh, what a game!
What a game! Did y'all see that shit?
I mean, that was unbelievable, wasn't it?
Like, Les, you just coach.
You're coaching. Not right now.
Tomorrow's,
Kiss him on the mouth if
Tomorrow's
she's a
game
girl.
is senior night. Did y'all know that?
Yes.
No.
Have you not paid attention to this?
Katie, have you been here all week?
Senior night at the game tomorrow night. Y'all
Yeah.
know this.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's what
I'm
it's-
leading into a little trivia. Yeah, I've been here. Well, no, I haven't been here some of the mornings, I guess. But
Come on now. Get it together.
do y'all know how many seniors will be celebrated?
17.
Okay.
Spoke
shit.
on it earlier.
We watched the show, okay?
Yeah.
And it's even more telling who's not going to be on senior night. That's the big scoop. Jayden Daniels is not walking out, which
Oh.
makes it seem like people
Okay.
think he's coming back to
John
LSU.
Emery.
John Emery isn't walking out. So there's a laundry list of players that you thought may have walked out because that become like the de facto thing where if you're a junior that's going to go pro, you still walk out on senior night.
Mhm.
It may be much to do about nothing. I think Kelly talked about it on the presser, but it still gives you a glimmer of hope into what LSU could be in 2023. If you get Greg Brooks back, if you get Jayden Daniels back, you get John Emery back, you're like, whoa, we're kind of running this whole thing back in 2023 with the team that got you to the SEC championship in just year one.
I wonder what the domino effect will be here if Jayden Daniels decides to come back. Because I think that's a huge storyline to watch over the next couple of weeks. I think that the story about Jayden Daniels is that he's given himself a choice, right? Like the fact that he even has an option, I think, is really a illustration of the success that Brian Kelly has had in year one. I mean, if we would have been debating 8 months ago that we would be talking about Jayden Daniels discussing whether or not he was going to come back to school for the final year, you know, when Jayden Daniels transferred in, you would be thinking that, wow, Daniels he's that type of player? I mean, quite honestly, when I heard that he got, that he chose LSU as his destination after he went to the transfer portal after Arizona State, I just thought he was a piece of depth. You know, I thought that he was a guy that they were bringing in because they were concerned about that, if Miles Brennan went down, that they were only one backup away from going to Walker Howard. And they wanted another arm. They wanted somebody else that they could trust. I didn't realize that when they got Jayden Daniels, that they were potentially getting a guy that was going to have to make a choice whether or not he was going to come back or not because the level of his play. So, as I sit here and we talk about it with 2 regular season games left on the schedule and a postseason championship game in the league and a bowl game, I got no idea whether or not he comes back. If it was my choice or if I was in his camp, I would tell him today, right now, going into the UAB game, I would consider more coming back than going out, right? It seems like there's more to gain for Daniels coming back than there is going out. But in the same sense, it only takes one team. It only takes one NFL general manager that has seen Jayden Daniels play and say, there's our Kyler Murray, or there's our next guy. That's the quarterback that we want, because in the 2022-2023 edition of the NFL, that's kind of what they're looking for in Jayden Daniels, a true dual threat quarterback that has confidence running it and has enough skill set and tools that you can develop him into a better passer, right? Because all coaches by trade are arrogant. So they all look at Daniels and say, I can make him an all-pro. If he can throw it like that in college and he's still kind of finding his way and he can run like that, that's our guy. Take a shot on him. Maybe a year too early just to secure him. Maybe it's a team with a veteran quarterback that you can sit for a year and get him physically and mentally ready for the NFL, and they tell Daniels when it's time to get the information, hey, man, just come out. We'll take you in the first round. We'll take you in the second round. And maybe that's something he's got to think of. But I think if he came back, right, at this point, if he came back and he was able to mirror the success that he had over the last couple of weeks and turn that into consistent play, by all means, he would be a first-round pick. He would have made himself a ton of money. It wouldn't be just one or two teams out there that would say, hey, Jayden, if you come out, we'll take you. It would be 32 teams saying, hey, if you come out, we're going to take you with our first pick. And, you know, that's a lifestyle change. You know, I mean, that's a generational change. That's money that you just can't replace. And at that point, you know, I mean, you've made the right choice. But ultimately, at this point, I think right now, as he goes into the UAB game, it would probably be better suited for him to come back. Now, what if he goes to College Station, shreds that Texas A&M defense with 5 stars all over it, and then goes to Atlanta to the SEC championship game and beats Georgia and performs well against their star-studded NFL-ready defense? Well, now Jayden Daniels is in the discussion as possibly a first or second round pick, and now he's probably got to go. So this story isn't over. It'll continue to develop over the next couple of weeks, and it can kind of go either way, right? I mean, right now, as we sit here on November 18th, day before the UAB game, I would say that Jayden Daniels has a choice to make. As the season goes on, that choice may start to sway, you know, whether he comes back. Right now, as we sit here talking today, I would say that the meter probably sits more come back for Daniels. But this thing can move significantly over the next couple of weeks if he performs against, you know, defenses like Texas A&M, which has got some name recognition on it. I know that they're struggling in the win-loss column, but if you go out there and perform at a high level and, you know, carve that defense up, that's going to look good to pro scouts. And then you back that up with a solid performance against, you know, the best defense, one of the best defenses in college football, then Daniels may not have much of a choice to make. You know what I mean? It might make the decision for itself, right? I mean, today, Jayden Daniels would have to gather the information, really think about what I want to do. Do I want to come back? Do I want to risk this? Do I want to just jump in and start getting, you know, into the NFL system? But the choice may, in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, say, hey, look, man, you know, kind of Devin White. Devin White was crying in Orgeron's office. I want to come back. I mean, there was 3 people in there, Orgeron, and, you know, I mean, I believe the athletic director was in there saying, Devin, we can't do it. We cannot take you back. It would not be in your best interest. You have a chance to make generational wealth. And if you come back and snap your leg next season and that opportunity is gone, who's going to be able to live with that? So he had to go. Same thing for Jayden Daniels. He may play himself into a situation where, man, you got to go. Your stock will never be this high. Or you don't want to gamble on trying to get it this high again, right? Who's the quarterback at USC? Matt Barkley.
That came back.
Junior year, he was the number 1 pick in the draft. Came back for his senior season. He was like a 5th-round pick.
I don't know if he went in the 5th round, but I mean, he followed the Matt Leinart playbook where he's like, USC's kind of tight. Like, I don't have anything to do.
This is before NIL. Now, I'm sure
right.
he was making some stuff under the table.
He was doing just fine.
Right.
But, like, same thing with Leinart. Like, he was getting paid to go there. But I think he comes back for his senior year after winning the Heisman his junior year, where he's going to be the clear-cut, I think, 1st overall pick. And he says, no, I'm going back to USC to run it back with the boys. Takes ballroom dancing as his only class in college and just proceeds to almost win another national championship, and that's the famous USC-Texas game in 2006, 7?
Who?
USC-Texas, 2006.
Yeah, 2006.
Yep. And so he gets lumped into the Vince Young, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart draft, where he goes to Arizona, and Vince Young goes to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rich goes to the Saints.
Weird things going on with Leinart right now on social media. He's like putting back on his USC uniform and going to practice.
Why?
I don't know.
He said he hadn't put it on like since the Texas game.
But I don't understand why you would put it on now. I think that you open yourself up for a lot of
100.
A lot of social media jokes there.
The legs are terrible.
Well, I mean, what do you expect?
I mean, I understand.
When's the last time that guy stood under a squat rack?
Never. I don't think he did when he played. He was in California cool, dude.
Matt Barkley went 4th round.
Fourth round,
98th pick.
Who'd he go to, Buffalo?
No, Eagles.
He ended up in Buffalo, though,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He still might be there.
Yeah, I think he is in Buffalo right now.
But what is Matt Leinart? What did you just say? He's at practice again?
I mean, bring up his social
way
media.
Too old for that. What? How
I mean,
old is he?
You know, like you know what it hit me like? It was like the high school. It was like when you were in high school.
40.
And the former athlete came back.
It is like that.
And it was like, and it wasn't coming back like the next year, which I think that there was a little bit of forgiveness in that. And I think, like when they come back immediately after, you're kind of like, all right, douche, but I get it. The 4 or 5 year comeback, you know what I mean? Like couple of coaching changes come back. Like nobody with USC
on the
football
field. Yeah.
has anything to do. Has no ties to Matt Leinart anymore. You know what I mean? And for him to like walk up in there and like I get it. He won the Heisman. You
know where he keeps his Heisman?
Make it well in the NFL.
He just I don't know this for sure, but I mean like his style is very like slow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
NFL
like
is
he's
too fast.
very
methodical.
He's almost kind of like robotic in the way that he plays, and like he's got
left-handed.
heavy feet. Mm-hmm. His throwing style is kind of like a baseball player where he'd like wind it up. You know what I mean? And like you got guys running 4.4 off the edge.
So he was like better protected in college.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah. He had
his college football team.
That's why he came back.
It was an NFL team. I mean, they were an NFL team.
Yeah.
They were in Los Angeles where there was no pro football team there.
Mm.
They didn't have the Rams.
Yeah.
They didn't have the Chargers at that point. The Dodgers were really no good. Really, it was Kobe, Shaq, and USC football.
Yeah.
And then like in 2004, Kobe shipped Shaq out. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like Kobe kind of became almost like a villain in town for a while before he got all the love. And I remember I was out there the summer of 2004, and like talk radio was dominated by nothing but Kobe, Shaq, and Mike Krzyzewski, because Kobe had run Phil Jackson out too. And they were like, who's going to coach?
Coach K?
And Kobe was like, I want Coach K.
Oh, yeah, because he had him for the Olympics.
Because he had him for the Olympics.
Or trade me.
And K was like, I think there was like a 72-hour period where he like told Duke, I'll let you know Monday, like what I decide to do, whether I take the Laker job or whether I stay at Duke. And he stayed at Duke, and I think like Rudy Tomjanovich got the job for the Lakers, and like the whole town just melted. I mean, they just all went, wow. But like outside of that, it was USC football. I mean, it was Reggie Bush, Lindell White, Matt Leinart, Dwayne Jarrett. I mean, like even like guys like Ray Malaluga and Brian Cushing. Oh, God. I mean, dude, they were running that town. They were like on Hollywood. They were like on like going to like movie
going
premieres
to the
and
red
shit.
carpet.
They were
Entourage.
They were living Entourage.
Yes.
They were living the Entourage life. I'm telling you, like Who was it? It was
Will Ferrell and Snoop Dogg are on the sidelines at your practice.
Their practices were open. They had 1,500 people every day at practice.
And Pete Carroll had his surfboard up against the practice facility wall.
Who was Shady McCoy? Shady McCoy told his recruiting story
by Lindell White,
and he was like, I told my mom I'm going out to USC and we're going out there. Lindell White's going to be my host, and he was like, my hero was Reggie Bush.
Plays just like him.
Like he was like, that's who we looked up, like Joe McKnight at the time. Like it was the same type of thing. And Lindell and Shady McCoy says that they land in LA and like Reggie Bush shows up and like surprises everybody, and Shady's like, holy shit, this is the guy. And like Bush takes McCoy because McCoy's like the top recruit, and he takes him to a clothing store like on Sunset, and they close it down. Like when Reggie Bush walks in, the guy's like,
Drake,
close the door. He's like, curtain it place up and tell Shady, take whatever you want. And Shady was like, I still got shit from that day. He was like, I still wear stuff from what I picked up that day. I mean, it was like, it was amazing. I mean, they ran that town. I think Reggie Bush started dating Kardashian like his early in
it was
New
like
Orleans.
his second year in New Orleans.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
he was riding the high. The Pete Davidson territory.
Jeez.
He's on a run.
Good for
really
Pete, bro.
is. I mean, good for him. I
You
love
wanna-
it for him.
You want to see the?
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, his arms look good.
Yeah, but watch his legs. His legs are terrible.
He's a tall guy.
He's so cute.
He used to be a fat kid.
Yeah, he was a fat kid with glasses.
Mm-hmm.
He's cute.
He keeps his Heisman trophy on the floor in his closet.
Why?
Really?
He was on McAfee, and he was walking by. He was like, "Where's old Heisman hanging out?" He's like, "I don't know." He like walked through his house, which is immaculate, and he's like, "Oh shit, it's on the ground. It's a doorstop for his closet in his bathroom." I mean, it's cool. Should have two.
The helmet.
I mean, so now what?
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
now I'm dressed, so now what? Yeah, right.
Look at the legs. I mean, the throwing motion, he's still got it.
What's the point of this, though?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
We don't know.
I don't get it.
There you go.
Skinny legs.
There you go.
He told you. Legs are just terrible.
Terrible.
Arms are cool.
That's funny. Strange.
Strange.
a little weird.
Yeah, I mean, like, why did he do
Weird.
it? But hey, everybody has their own thing.
Those teams were. I wish that 2003 LSU USC team could have played. That was.
I don't know what happens.
I don't know either.
Line it up and let's play.
I mean, that is
football porn.
Playoff. It would have
That
been
is-
Oklahoma, LSU, USC, and who else? It would have been the fourth.
Oklahoma USC 2003. Wow, that's a great question, Lloyd.
Oh, thank you.
It might have been another SEC team. It might have been Auburn.
It was 04. They got shunned, right? 04 or 05.
04, they went undefeated
and didn't
got
get in.
left out.
So if you want precedent for
Who
what
was
could
that?
happen to
USC
LSU.
played Oklahoma that year. The year they were left out. USC played Adrian Peterson's freshman year, and USC went down to the Orange Bowl and beat the ever-living hell out of Oklahoma.
Was this 03?
No, that was 04. That was the next year. But Auburn went undefeated that year. So 2003 would have been LSU, USC, Oklahoma, and Michigan. Didn't
the top four was USC, LSU, Oklahoma, and Ohio State.
who did USC play in the Rose Bowl?
Michigan.
Yeah, they played
Braylon Edwards went
they
for
played
80
Michigan.
like the first play of the game.
Right.
And then USC just trounced them. Because I remember
hell out of
watching
them.
that game being like, I was never a bigger Michigan fan because I wanted USC to lose so badly that there wasn't going to be any disparity for who gets into the national championship or if USC is going to be able to claim a part of this national championship, just lose to Michigan and this can all be settled. Instead, you get LSU's the one with the USC wins AP crown on the like they butchered the.
Yeah, they actually had
Sports
three.
Illustrated.
They actually had 3 Sports Illustrated covers that week, and regionally, Stewie, if you just come in over the top directly over my head, the Justin Vincent LSU's the one. There were 3 Sports Illustrated covers.
What a week in sports!
That
I know
week.
what they are. Yeah,
And it was the other one was USC was on the cover. The other one was LSU was on the cover, and then the Midwestern edition was Pete Rose on the cover, admitting that he bet on baseball.
I bet on baseball. I'm telling you right here.
I mean, like,
what a week!
Oh, no shit, huh, Pete?
Yeah, Pete. Well, I figured I'd get some shine.
Of every week to admit that you done this.
He tried to do the Friday news
The
dump.
week that they got to split the natty up in college football, so we got to do 3 covers
on one
for SI.
He tried to slide it in there. He's like, "Oh, they just did the national championship. Huge story. There's 2 national champions. I bet on baseball." And they're like, "Well, Pete, what? You got to be now. You get a cover."
That was nuts, man. But man, I guess that's the best game I never saw.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be the most obvious. I'm trying to think of the game that you wish you would have seen. That just didn't work out, like LSU playing Ohio State rather than Clemson in that 2019 national championship. That was the first time in Burrow's storybook year that it just kind of went off script.
Oh.
It felt like he was going to get a chance to play Ohio State. Jay, will you go open the door?
Can you let Josh in?
Please. But it felt like Burrow was going to get a swing at Ohio State just because everything had worked out for him.
Right.
Year. I mean, like the stories kind of was incredible that, it was all just kind of lining up. Ohio State was up there the entire time. You just felt like those two were going to meet each other and that the end of the story was going to be Burrow beating his ex-team in Louisiana in the Superdome for the national championship. You kind of felt like it was all going to line up. That it didn't. They played Clemson. They get the ring. They get the win. Storybook season. But the other would be like LSU USC 2003. I mean, that was the game that everybody was like wanting to see because really it felt like bell to bell, start to finish. They were the 2 best teams. USC got beat just like LSU got beat that season, and LSU got beat by Florida in October, and USC got beat by Cal in Berkeley with a team that had no
Rodgers?
business. No, it was not Aaron Rodgers. They had no business on the same field as that USC team, and it came down to like a late field goal or something, and Cal was able to kick one through and beat them. But it was
Cal in triple overtime.
Triple overtime?
Yeah. Wow.
What day was it? I mean, what month of the year was it?
Aaron
Was it
Rodgers
October?
was on that team.
Was he the starting quarterback?
He was a sophomore.
Was he playing that day?
I don't know. I'm looking. This is interesting.
Poor Aaron Rodgers last night.
Terrible haircut.
He was
That's what it is.
down.
He does have a terrible haircut.
Did you hear him ask? They were like, "Where do you go from here?" And he went, "Home."
I saw that.
He is quick on his feet.
He really
I saw
is.
that. That
He
was
really
pretty funny.
Aaron Rodgers did play.
Deshaun Jackson.
I remember that. Yeah, great visor. Aaron Rodgers, 18 of 25.
How much of a menace you think Deshaun Jackson was in Berkeley?
I mean, you had, hold on, Deshaun Jackson and was
Marshawn Lynch
on that team?
I think the guy that we were talking about that left LSU, Lavelle Hawkins, was on that team.
Probably so.
Because he transferred to Cal.
I got to go back home. Where are you going? Home.
Yeah, right. Getting the hell out of here, bro. All right, we'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Katie, tell them about Dead Soxy.
Dead Soxy, you have one more day to use the code Jordy to get 40% off. We've all ordered ours. I got a 12-pack of athletic socks. They're the best. Jordy has them on right now, right?
I do.
Are those them?
No, they just got the tie-dyes.
I know. I love the tie-dye. I ordered the solid white. They got stripes. They have all your teams, actually, all the college teams' colors. A good time to get
Pull him all the way up
gifts.
to his knees.
A good time to get corporate gifts.
Like somebody's
You
grandpa in the
Got
gym.
his orthopedics
It's warm.
on.
I mean, they keep you warm. You have until tomorrow at kickoff to use
Get the
the
Les
code
Miles
Jordy
Monarchs.
to get the 40% off. The kickoff for the UAB game. So
Gotta put
get
your
in
finger
there.
in here.
Deadsoxy.com, deadsoxy.com.
Dead Soxy, 40% off before Saturday. So do it now.
Yeah.
So you
what I
can look
just
like
said,
Jordy,
damn
getting
it.
your orthopedics on. Getting all that blood flow. It's all coming
It's all
and
good,
going.
bro. Keem, Lavelle Hawkins was on that team.
Mm.
You got the box score from that day? Lloyd?
I just did.
Let's also talk about our Georgia travel options for
Thank you, Katie.
December 3rd, SEC Championship. Partnering up with Mr. Funds Travel. Go to
Ramo.
MrFundstravel.com, Jason Ramo. He has, when you go to the website, you can just click the book now button. They have rooms still available. They have a 2-night hotel package, price per person. So it starts at single for $889 and goes all the way to a quad for $229. It's at the Hyatt Place Atlanta in Centennial Park. Check-in's Friday, December 4th. Check out December 4th. You get a hot breakfast with it. And he does have tickets, too. If you go on the website to MrFunTravel.com, you can book your hotel. And I don't know how many tickets he has left available, but he does have 2 different ticket options and 2 different sections available. I think there are a few spots left. It's filling up really quickly. So go to MrFunTravel.com, click book now, and get that trip booked. Get to Georgia.
We'll be back. More of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com. We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Their weekly pre-order, freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs know your desired delivery date, and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O-Shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at JordyCulottaShow.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
Do you suffer from chronic dehydration? Are you looking to improve your athletic performance and you need to get over and see our friends over at GoFlow IV? They're located on Jefferson Highway. Easy to find them online at GEAUXFlowIV.com. Make sure and use the promo code Jordy Culotta Show. If you do, they'll take 15% off of your initial visit. Check them out online, GEAUXFlowIV.com. All right, welcome back here to a Friday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show. The Butcher is here. The Thespian is here. Joshua from Iverstines, our guy, is in the studio. And he's in the kitchen. We spoke it into existence.
Chili.
We wanted chili. We got chili.
He had to have heard us.
No communication between Joshua and the crew, and we are getting, not only are we getting chili, we're getting a Frito chili pie, which is, nothing says winter more in the South than a Frito pie. Bro. Give me 3 of them.
In the bag of Fritos?
In the bag? No, I can't do the bag. I got to
do
go
that.
like in a fry tray.
Oh, okay.
Is my favorite
Yeah.
because I like the you know
He likes to play with his food. Yeah.
Just walk around it, toss the whole thing.
I
Walking taco.
got a deep cut. I guess I'm lucky it's not Hot Chili Day. Do you know what movie?
No.
Anybody?
What is that?
Hot Chili
Something
Day.
so familiar
He's a
about
janitor,
that, though.
but he's also they're telling the story of his life on the radio with Dennis Miller.
Ooh, Dennis Miller's one of my favorites.
Life's a Garden.
That's the movie?
No, it's another quote. Life's a garden, dig it.
They
scrub so you don't have to.
I keep thinking like Mallrats, the radio station one.
Is this Truman?
What is it?
No, this is
Is Brendan Fraser
Joe Dirt.
in it? Oh.
Joe Dirt.
Okay.
What a classic.
Me and Meteor. It's just ain't nothing but old crapper tank people.
I'm not super into Joe Dirt, I guess. I wouldn't know all the lines.
It's unfortunate. It's a classic.
Yeah.
David Spade.
I didn't really get into it either.
Yeah.
Spade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spade's best work was riding on Farley's coattails.
Absolutely.
He did some good
Tommy
standalone.
Boy.
What was
Just
his
when
best?
he's like sarcastic Spade.
Yeah.
Not like Joe Dirt, silly Spade.
Right.
I like sarcasm Spade.
I mean,
Dickie Roberts, former child star. Anybody?
Mm-mm.
Damn.
I thought his comedy mountaintop was Spade in character. Anything outside of being David Spade, I thought was
Just neurotic.
Yeah.
Too put on.
Obviously Tommy Boy is their best work together.
best.
Better than Black Sheep for
Absolutely.
sure.
Black Sheep was terrible.
Oh,
not terrible.
If Tommy Boy
compared to
doesn't
Tommy
exist, then Black Sheep is probably your cult classic.
Yeah, I guess
but
so.
Tommy
Right.
Boy,
Still some good lines that come out of Black Sheep.
Oh, absolutely.
Road,
roads, limit. You ever just look at words and say them? I think we're high. And Tommy Boy, when his hair gets blown off, he's like, "Don't you tell a soul."
God, that was the best. That was the best.
Don't say a word.
Richard.
I ketchup popsicle.
Housekeeping, want me fluff your pillow?
We jerk you off? What kind of hotel is this?
The hell?
Richard, were you watching Spank Tradition? Who's your favorite little rascal? Is it Alfalfa or Spanky? He's over there beating off under the covers. Go to bed. He wakes him up and he's in his underwear and like the child's under. He's like, "Good Lord, Richard, what's happening?"
It's so good.
Oh, I just want a hug.
Some of those scenes from inside, like the sales part of it, like when he's like,
but it needs to be on the box.
Oh my god.
The classic cars. He lights it on fire.
Spade's like packing his briefcase up.
You have derailed.
Stephen Miller asked, anybody see the weather forecast for Saturday? I have not. What is it?
Rain. It said like 60% chance of rain.
What's the deal, man?
What is the deal?
You
with
got
that?
those sweet tickets?
I don't. Yeah, I do. They're all in use. I'm sorry.
Are you going? Oh yeah, that's right. Katie's first experience down on the field.
My first credentialed experience.
She's
in the
going
rain?
She's going
Unless
as a,
it's raining.
as a working media member.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
We expect social
Content.
updates. We expect live
we
tweeting.
expect you on your knees
Live
during the
tweeting,
show.
thank you.
Certainly.
Make sure we have some video and some still shots from the post game.
Just post up next to Taylor Technique. Take his camera.
I know. That's what I thought about. Follow Taylor
Oh
around.
gosh, it's gonna rain. Man.
Go
If it rains though, I don't know if I can handle that.
I'll take
Cold
it.
and rain.
Nope.
I'll take your pass. I'll be there.
Oh,
You
yeah,
drink
you
on the
will.
sidelines?
I don't
No.
know. That's what I'm wondering.
I saw a
don't know
big bottle of
anything about
bourbon
it.
down there last
No
time I
drink,
ventured
Coach.
onto the field.
Not a part of your new gig. Only at your old gig you could drink on the job.
Oh yeah.
Where was that?
At your old place.
Oh,
The
KP's?
jewelry store.
I talked to him yesterday. Good friend got engaged, and I was wondering if I got any of that commission.
I thought you were
was
going
like,
to
I
say
feel
you were
like I
buying an engagement ring.
Fuck that. You get a rubber ring. It's collar's
like
broken.
I'm gonna
Take
need
this.
that back.
Yeah.
I feel like I deserve a little commission on this.
That's what I called and said. And I actually broke the news to him that his sister got engaged. He was like, "What? Wait, what?" And I was like, "Oh." I was just calling to make a joke about commission on
did
your
that?
sister getting engaged, and he was like,
That's terrible.
Lloyd.
well, I
Damn,
feel like it's their
Lloyd.
fault.
Yeah, I mean, it's the
Your
sister's
sister should
fault.
tell you. You shouldn't hear from me. This is like 2 PM. Should have known by now. It happened at like
Still.
11. I mean, I felt like I was
You
safe.
blew
You're late.
it.
I don't think I
You
blew it.
for the whole family.
If there was one way to learn, you probably wanted to hear it from me.
The ring guy fucking told me about the surprise.
He goes, "Wait, did he buy a ring from somewhere else?"
Lloyd.
See?
I was like, "No, I don't know. You say, look at this video I sent you." And he was like,
The
"No, that's fine."
SEC is making a couple of adjustments here, and I think this is best case scenario, ladies and gentlemen. Greg Sankey yesterday says the SEC is planning to do away with divisions once Texas and Oklahoma join the league. That'll be July 1st of 2025. Sankey said that the SEC is waiting on other factors like potential college football playoffs expansion and the Big Ten media agreement to make the final scheduling decisions. 2025 schedule and beyond will likely feature conference-wide showdowns, which will set up some fascinating matchups, right? We've seen this before. COVID was the one that really exposed this for the league. In fact, Sankey said so much yesterday. Sankey said yesterday, during the pandemic, we played 10 conference games. We had our own SEC network experiencing the highest viewership that we had ever gone through. We drew people in by playing each other with greater frequency. Greg Sankey, I think, saw during that pandemic season that first off, you can play 10 conference games, which the league did. They played 10 regular season conference matchups. And the biggest beneficiary of that was the league. It was the bottom line. It was the ad sales. It was the SEC network, which is now the engine that's driving this entire operation, is the television contract. Sankey's waiting on the Big Ten agreement to be finalized because he needs to know how much leverage he's got when he gets to the table to negotiate the Southeastern Conference media rights, because if you're going to pay $7 billion for the Big Ten over the next 5 years, $7 billion over the next 5, then you better be ready to write a fat check when Sankey and the cronies from the Southeastern Conference come sit down at the negotiating table. Because if they're getting 7, Sankey's probably going to want 15 over the next 5. because the product is that greater. It's that much more on demand. It's that much more football in the Southeastern Conference is the king. They know it. The numbers are there. The dollars are there. Look at the facilities. Look at the coaching contracts. Look at what's happening to the league as a whole. Just from a branding standpoint, all of that is happening because of the money that is coming down from the television stations. And look, I, like you, think that television is losing its relevancy. And cable television in 3 years is going to have a much more different discussion than they're having today. But all of these entities, all of these companies that are negotiating are all talking streaming rights. I mean, it's all going to be about the digital product and where they can stream it the most and where they can get most access of viewership. So this SEC media right contract is going to literally reset the entire market once it's finalized. So Sankey knows that. And, you know, like we talked a little bit about when this stuff is starting to churn and everybody's starting to talk about, if you're going to sign a TV deal like that based on the football popularity of your league, well, then you need to show off your league. This needs to become exactly what we have built it to be, and that is minor league NFL, right? And look at the scheduling formula that the NFL looks at. And they don't have any other option because all of these guys are pros and they are trying to find, what is the best matchup. I know y'all watch Thursday Night Football and that there's a joke in there and that there's no good Thursday Night Football. But what I'm saying is that every week there's something on the line in the NFL. Every week there's big-time matchups in the NFL. Every week there is what is deemed to be upsets in the NFL. They're not viewed the same as Vanderbilt beating Kentucky, but it's still upsets. And in any given Sunday, we use the example, the Houston Texans can beat the Buffalo Bills, whoever it may be. The league's worst can beat the league's best. That's what the television executives want from the league, and the league saw firsthand. Greg Sankey, Herb Vincent, the executives in Birmingham at the Southeastern Conference office saw, hey, look, in 2020, when we all played one another, the viewership on the Southeastern Conference television station was as high as it's ever been. Well, everybody was parked at home. True. Yeah, they were. But now they have access to the SEC network more greater right in the palm of their hand. And what they've proven to us is that if we play within our own league, if we play within our own conference, that's what people want. That's the product. That's what they want. They want to see good games every week. Blow the divisions up. Bust the rivalries up. Fine by me. If you've got Texas traveling to Gainesville, if you've got Oklahoma and Georgia meeting up, if you've got Alabama and LSU, you've got all of these teams and entities and brands that you have to choose from now, and you just start scheduling it like the NFL. Right? I mean, 1 year, you may not play a certain program or a certain team, or you may not make the trip, but there will never be a scenario again in the league that exists where one player can go 4 years of eligibility and then not at least travel around to every venue and experience it. Right? I think that needs to be a part of the college football experience. And I'm not trying to contradict myself. I don't think that this is about the student athlete and it's about the college experience. And I know that it's become much more grand than that with the television contracts and all that surrounds the game. But there's still a little bit of pageantry to, hey man, make sure LSU's students, or at least the players, have a chance to go to Neyland Stadium and play in Tennessee, or vice versa. Tennessee has the chance to come down to Baton Rouge and play in Tiger Stadium and get that experience. So when they're 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years removed from their playing experience in the SEC, they can watch a game and say, man, I remember that Saturday down in Baton Rouge. It was wild down there when we went. Or whatever that may be. I think that goes into growing the brand of the league as well. Not having, 13-year gaps where teams don't go and play one another. Makes no sense. You're in the same damn league. How do you not play one another? This model tends to support that, right? Where you'll have an opportunity to play everybody under the umbrella. And now, as this thing expands and they may take on more teams, they may have to redesign how they format their scheduling. But with 16 squads and 16 power brands and teams that you would love to watch play one another, right? I mean, there's all types of matchups of Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Arkansas, LSU, Ole Miss that you still want to see, that you still want to have the colors playing one another on your television set, or that you're live in person for. And under this format of blowing the divisions up in the league and just saying, look, this is minor league NFL. This is NFL 3.0.
And the fact that this model, it kind of fell in their lap, I feel like the more that they look at it and they realize, I guess, there's a lot of things being extrapolated from COVID, some a good thing, some a bad thing. But this is what he took from COVID, was the only conference games. And he was like, oh my God, look at the numbers. And it might be a thing where everybody was inside, couldn't really go to the games, and that's why the numbers are inflated. But moreover, I think he saw the power of what the SEC is as its own entity, as its own brand. Because the SEC is playing a different ball game than everybody else in college football, right? Doesn't it feel that way? Especially when you go see these matchups, these are the guys that are going to the NFL. If you can squeeze all of that together and make the SEC into its own thing and make it even more fierce, where you're going from state to state every week, there's a heavy hitter. The SEC network, like their college game day show, is going to be a monster, because that's where that's going to be on campus every week somewhere where it's a marquee game. And fans, I think, are going to start traveling to locations that they've never been to. So it might not be an experience for the student athlete, but the student going to say, "Oh, sure. I got to go to Neyland. I got to go to
absolutely." And look, that's part of the experience I'm describing. It doesn't. I mean, look, a football player's experience of going to Neyland Stadium is very bland, right? I mean, like, you're sleeping in some rural town hotel on a Friday night in some suburb of Knoxville. You're getting up. You're taking a bus to the game 2.5 hours before it kicks. You're playing the game. As soon as it wraps up, you're jumping on the bus, jumping in an airplane, and you're back in Baton Rouge before the sun sets, right? You don't have
all day.
You've got the 4 hours on the playing surface,
right?
Of kind of looking around and seeing what Tennessee looks like during a game, but you don't have the fans driving into the Smoky Mountains at 6 o'clock in the morning off of a road trip that they've been planning for 6 months.
Or that they got in the car and ate 4 Adderall and said, "We're going to Tennessee, boys."
Exactly, which is I highly recommend.
What's the lifetime?
But that's the type of stuff you're talking about, right? I mean, like, can't you see the next generation loading up and driving to Oklahoma?
You get to hit every SEC
you know what I mean?
stop.
You're thinking, let me go to Norman, Oklahoma. What's it like over there on a game day? You know what I mean?
That's what they're selling, is the experience of you can't beat college football atmospheres. And I think they know that the college football fan loves it. And now you're selling, sure, you have your TV streaming and you have that, but now you get people on campus. It kind of promotes itself in a sense, where now they're spending money on campus. It's just like ancillary factors that become a moneymaker in hindsight. But really, these people don't care. They just want to go see more college football. Yeah. And now you're giving them matchups that are going to be great every weekend.
Absolutely.
You don't want to go see Tennessee UAB or LSU UAB. That's not moving the needle.
As much as we talked about the LSU Southern experience earlier this year,
there's still a market for that.
I don't know if there is.
But that would be your week 0.
Yeah, sure. That would be your week 0. That's the only place you can get it.
And now we're about to slug each other for the next 10 weeks.
Right. In the next 2 months, you're walking into, the gauntlet. You're walking into the gauntlet of the league.
And that's the only, I guess, this is in conjunction with the playoff expanding, obviously, because you don't want to become LSU, where it's like the Pac-12, or the SEC, where you just devour yourself, where you kind of knock yourself out of contention because you're playing. Everybody's going to have 2 losses. And so now, we can't look at the SEC because they're a 2-loss team here too. But that's what the Pac-12 does. Like, USC has 1 loss to a good Utah team, but they're not even talked about in the playoff really because they have 1 loss. And then they're going to, So the Pac-12 has kind of done this model, but they beat up on each other so badly that they never have a representative.
Well, the Pac-12 screwed it up because they didn't have any exposure. They didn't sign with major networks. The ones that's really doing it the best right now is the Big Ten. I mean, the Big Ten's they were able to keep ESPN, keep Fox. I think they added NBC to their
repertoire.
To their portfolio, and was able to sell that. It's going to be interesting. James Sells inside of the chat says, at Jordy, so somewhere in what you're saying is that the SEC network can become a power to an extent against ESPN.
Yes.
That would be huge. It would, but you have to realize ESPN owns the SEC network, and a lot what I would compare it to is Monday Night Football. Look at what ESPN has done to Monday Night Football. They have gone out and paid $50 million in salary to Troy Aikman and Joe Buck, and they have them sitting on the stick that we've usually always watched Monday Night Football, and then just one channel up, they're doing an interactive Monday night viewing with the Manning brothers that is kicking everybody's ass. Right? I mean, that's beating their primary product. The numbers are destroying Joe Buck and Troy Aikman compared to what Eli and Peyton are doing. So they're ratcheting up this, these two entities almost against one another under their own umbrella. And I think very similarly, they will have the same type of monster on their hand with the SEC network. It will be interesting to see how this deal is negotiated on the front end, how the media is split up, right? From the SEC network to ABC, right? I mean, the big marquee game each weekend is now going to become the daytime ABC, ESPN, SEC package on Saturdays, right? I mean, it usually was the CBS 2:30 game. That's going away. ABC, ESPN about to gobble up all the rights of the Southeastern Conference, and you're probably going to see 11 a.m. games going to 2:30 games, 2:30 games going to 7 o'clock games, and you're just going to have a buffet of SEC football every Saturday from the time game day turns off until the time you go to bed. And we're talking about games that mean something. LSU, Texas, Ole Miss, A&M, Florida, Georgia. I mean, games that you're not moving all day to watch. And the ad power has the ad dollar has all of the power that is driving that. It's going to be a fascinating next couple of years in what college football, for as different as the product looks now than it was 2 years ago, right? How much different is SEC college football perceived, looked at, felt than what it was 2 years ago? How much different it's going to feel 2 years from now compared to where we are is going to be incredible to experience. It feels like college football is going to travel 1,000,000 miles over the next 2 years, and combined over the last 4 years. The last two and the next two, college football is about to move 1,000,000 miles down the line. It's going to be a significantly different product in the way that we view it, the way that we digest it, the way that we can get it. I mean, everything is going to be right here. On demand, stats, highlights, reels, shorts, TikTok, social media, everything that you are accessing at a just gargantuan rate every single day will be your football. You know, I mean, that will be and specifically your SEC football.
And when you talk about the Manning cast with the NFL, look at what ESPN did the same thing for college football, where they have the McAfee doing a simulcast from his studio on ESPN2 for, I think they did 6 college football games this year. Mm-hmm. So they're giving you the option to choose, because either way, ESPN's making money. They don't care which one you pick, as long as you pick between ESPN and ESPN2. Mm-hmm. They're cool with either way. They're cool with it.
You're on our property,
right? Mm-hmm. And so you can they're almost like segregating their community between, okay, do you want buttoned up and a very official call, or do you want to hang with the boys and watch the game? A little bit like what we're doing a little bit over here, a little call to watch party, but to be able to almost be able to get the 40 and over crowd and then capture the 18 to 30 demo. That's what they've done. They found a way to entertain you while entertaining you.
They know what
I mean, doing. We were 5 years ahead on whiskey and wine. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's where it went. I mean, that was the model. Mm-hmm. I mean,
but that was even a post-game show. Now it's evolved to during the game show. Right. So I mean, obviously, whiskey and wine's a monster. And that's what y'all built. And it's crazy to see that even that evolved. Like, let's turn the dial up even more. You want a post game, or do you want a visceral, real reaction live right now?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's turned into. It used to just be post game or pre-game, post game. Now it's all game.
No doubt.
It's awesome.
Hit that like button, share button, comment button. Remember, daily, we're brought to you by Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. I know my man Jude Barker and the crew celebrating the Tulane win last night. They caught a bus from West Baton Rouge yesterday, bus down to Ullman Stadium. Had a crew of them last night taking them in as Tulane got back on track as they rolled up SMU down in New Orleans last night. But Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works, huge fans of Tulane, but the best plumbers in the area. Number one and a number two business, 225-776-2431, 225-776-2431. Mention the show, save 15%. 225-776-2431. That's the only way you can get in touch with them. They got a couple of trucks over on East Baton Rouge side, over on Baton Rouge side of the river every single day. So if you need some help over here, whether it's residential or commercial, they can help you out. Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works, 225-776-2431. All right, we're going to get plated up here. We're going to eat. We'll be back and close it out here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
I have to call old Barker after this.
Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com. We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Their weekly pre-order, freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Ghost Chevrolet. Eating some chili, cheese, Frito pie.
Chili.
Crushing it.
Doesn't even know what he's eating. He's just eating.
Do you know?
What am I eating, Joshua?
No,
Good to see you, buddy. Take it over.
The thing he didn't want to tell you. It's actually bratwurst chili.
Oh.
I said
You didn't even know.
That'll be the sign off of vegetables on yours, cooked carrots on yours, and bratwurst on yours.
He Dahmered us.
So far, Stu's
like
the
what
only
you
one
eating?
that has my back, eating everything with a smile.
That's right. Stewart.
He does.
Yeah, and it's usually gone by the time we start the segment, so it's like I feel there's a genuine. And I will say, I think only on one dish have I seen him throw little extra Tonys on it. So everything's been pretty spot on too. So
Courtesy of
Yeah.
Big Daddy Donk, Cajun
Yeah.
Seasons.
What are we eating?
We got a beef and pork chili. So this is stocked up, loaded up for the chili weekend that we're gonna have at Iverstines. Go in, grab it. Don't have to cook hours. Put it on the pot, and you have. It took me 15 minutes to get it boiling.
It's very tomato based, and I love that.
Yes, I think it's really good. It's got a nice little kick on it. I always got to go with sour cream and some cheddar. The popular thing is also the Fritos, so I don't hold that against anybody.
Second straight weekend, I have gone to Iverstines on a Sunday for breakfast. Bro, y'all got something over there.
Which you have you had that rib debris bowl?
I have not.
It's
I
good.
see
I've
it.
had it.
But what I go is I go traditional. I can't get away from the biscuit, scrambled egg, sausage, link stuff.
Yeah.
Little bacon on the side.
It's
and then
hard
I
to
just
get
gotta
away.
roll
Yeah.
myself out of there.
Sometimes people get too crazy. I think we've talked about
I agree.
Like pizza and burgers. People, like pineapple burger or this. No. But that rib debris bowl is something.
It is
it's
good.
like it's the.
What am I looking at? What is that?
So that is the ribs that we do ribs every Thursday for a lunch special. And those are, a little of the leftover ribs that we just scrape off the bone.
Wow.
And so it's shredded rib meat.
Oh, God.
And we just put it over some polenta. No, grits. It's grits. Yeah. And then a little bit of pickled onion, and it's very good.
So the chili, I can just walk in and buy out of the freezer?
Right now, yeah.
Quart.
It's good to go.
And what's the process once I get home?
You can thaw it, or you can run it under some hot water until it comes out of the thing, and then just put it in your pan, heat it up. It's good, easy.
You just need to heat it up.
Yeah, that's it.
It's ready to go.
It's ready to go. So however, fancy you want to get.
Microwave.
Sometimes I get things frozen, like same thing with ground meat or whatever.
David just texted me and said you need to bring some of that home.
Well, we
All right.
got dinner.
There you go.
Exactly.
It's
Pop it
perfect.
in the air fryer.
A little bit of gumbo left in there, so there is some
Wait,
gumbo
a little
options.
bit of what?
Gumbo.
Not
in your chili.
I was like, wait,
Yeah.
what?
Fooled you.
I don't want
I
it
couldn't
anymore.
decide what to have, chili or gumbo, so I went with both.
Oh, she doesn't
The
eat
old
gumbo.
chumbo.
Chigumbo.
The old chumbo.
We had some leftover from Thursday.
Yeah. So yeah, man, go ahead and grab it. Today is also a quick, before we get into the BS, today is the last day to order Thanksgiving sides through Iverstine. So get online. We have a whole menu, boudin rice dressing, a bread pudding, even a nice bourbon glazed bread pudding.
Are there raisins in it?
No.
Thank God.
Yes. So raisin free, if you're like the general populace that enjoy raisin free. Get on, order it up, pre-order. Today's the last day because, of course, we start making and getting everything ready. And
Yum.
but
So-
we'll have turkeys.
Everything online, IverstineFarms.com.
Iverstine Farms, yep.
You're going Christmas decorations tomorrow personally, right?
Yes.
You're right on the line here of whether or not it could be too early or
this
not.
So this is like the first year that
The Saturday
I have.
before Thanksgiving. That's a little early.
It's early.
That's a little. It is. Hey, and I've been like adamant. I used to, and this is even up until last year. I would never listen to a Christmas song until the day after Thanksgiving, and I wouldn't put anything up until Thanksgiving. And I don't know if it's just the times, but it just felt right.
Yeah. Oh wow!
And
it was an inner feeling. You weren't bullied by your wife on this at all.
No, she's. I think. And last week I watched a Hallmark Christmas movie in the evening time.
That's what it is.
It just seemed like a good.
How lonely are you over there?
Yeah. I'm not going to mention
chili, Hallmark.
I'm not going to mention the glass of red wine I had.
God.
Yeah. There was just something, but I think it's because my kid is she's in love with Coco Melon.
Okay.
And when you stream it, they have all the episodes, and that it doesn't know. It knows what you're thinking, but it doesn't know what season it is.
Yeah,
the Netflix.
Oh.
And so it plays Christmas. So I've been watching Christmas JJ since like July.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
You go real tree, fake tree?
I go fake tree.
Oh, Josh.
Hey, this is.
I figured you'd be cutting your own tree down type move.
I would, but here's the thing: is I'm not
fake tree. Kill his mic. Thank you, Josh. We'll talk to you next Friday.
Hey, I'm not bringing in a real tree from Louisiana because I don't need a snake or roaches or spiders.
You sound very touristy now.
I
You've
don't
been down
need- I
here
don't-
long enough.
I don't need any of that
you
coming
know all
into
of
my
that
house.
does not happen. You're not living in the Atchafalaya Basin, for God's sake.
I don't need any of that to come into my house.
Live in
It
some
could be a
neighborhood off of
squirrel.
a highland. I mean, give me a break, man.
I don't.
Did you chop your own trees down in Minnesota?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, real trees up north.
Uh-huh.
I go real tree up north. Yeah. I just can't. I just
Shot
focus.
across the bow, Louisiana.
Yeah, it was.
You know, trees aren't good enough for you?
You don't know what's in
Well,
them.
and
I
they'll
think
die because it's freaking hot here, and they've been sitting out there in the tree lot.
that is
shedding.
true. It might actually be like nice and chill up until Christmas here.
I
But-
can't get away from the real tree just for the smell.
Well, it's funny. Is my wife found these last year. Like these little scent.
Yeah.
It's a Christmas tree air freshener.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you pinpointed it.
Pointed
Next
it.
step's washing it off.
Classic Tommy boy. I like it. But yeah, they're these little things that you hang inside your tree. You can't see them. They're camouflage,
Okay.
and they give the smell of like a pine or a fir. They have different.
Look at them.
Oh man, it's
Y'all
great.
figured it all out.
But I'm really great. I'm in charge. I do lights every year. I'm in charge of the lights. So
Hell
this
yeah.
year we're going, especially as the kid gets older. It's like I got to go get more lights on Saturday, which I'm excited about. And
And
the
we'll
wife
have enough time.
Yeah, the wife
You
does
used to go
the
lights.
decorations.
You were talking about exterior lights. Right?
Interior and exterior.
Don't go to Walmart. I'm telling you.
No.
You'll get terrible service.
Okay.
Did you ever?
Since Stewie left, they hadn't found one to replace him.
Let a kid build a scooter. Let a kid build a scooter and take it at Walmart. He's like, he put it together. He deserves it.
Yeah, I mean, you put the work in.
Did you ever work in retail during Christmas?
Yeah, I worked at Lululemon.
Oh,
Damn.
When did they start the carols?
After Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot of Mariah Carey.
That's what I was
yeah.
gonna say.
All
Yeah.
for Christmas.
Yeah,
God.
it. But I've started, and it's kind of I've listened to my Christmas playlist a couple times already.
What
Okay.
you got on there?
I like it.
I got some classics. I mean, I'm kind of the classic.
What's the one seed for you?
The one seed I think will be, Nat Cole, man. A Christmas song, chestnuts roasting on
Yeah,
an
that's a
open
good one.
fire, like that.
Little
about
Otis
Christmas?
Redding, "Merry Christmas, Baby's a great one.
That's
Yeah.
a good one.
Blue Christmas by Elvis is a sneaky
Yeah,
one.
some of those are. I think anytime you get,
No?
Elvis oversells it.
Frank Sinatra. I mean,
There we
listening to
go.
Frank,
All
his
the
Silent
Frank
Night,
Christmas
yeah, his Jingle Bells, Jingle Bells, jingle. You know,
Yeah.
Voice.
You
What's
gotta-
what's the one where he may take that woman prisoner? What's that song?
What?
Maybe.
It's cold outside.
Yes.
Take that one.
Well, she keeps trying to leave, and he's like keeps pouring her drinks.
right.
He's
She
like,
doesn't wanna
we're
leave.
gonna
Italian.
Watch, we're gonna watch the videotapes.
She doesn't want to leave.
You're not going
No
anywhere.
excuses.
That's what I was. They both were, but it's good to know where your head's at.
Yeah, well, I'm just
And
listening
kinda
to
how
a cry
it-
for help.
Always thinking of the exit strategy.
Exactly.
Maybe
You're
we
over
should
there.
duet
it's
that
just-
song
yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Perform it for
think
the show.
We'll make the video where
Yeah.
she's trying to run through
Let's
every
do.
door and
We should
leave
make the
and
video.
keep seeing Frank with a
I
cocktail.
think,
Yes.
and then if I had to go with the one that definitely, and there's very few because I can kind of stomach even some originals. Like I can, okay, You know, I think a couple years ago, Taylor Swift had a Christmas tree farm song. Like, okay, I can do that.
So you spent the $94,000 on the Taylor Swift.
No, big week. You know, we'll get into that here in a second. But let me finish. The worst song I think is "Little Drummer Boy."
Okay.
Yeah,
that one, I think Little Drummer Boy.
I can get down with that. I can get down with that.
Pum-pum-pum-pum.
Yeah.
It does get annoying.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And I don't know who. I don't care who sings it. Frank's. You know,
Lots
Frank.
of
Any.
people sing it.
All these
Yeah.
people could sing it, and it doesn't matter. I still.
It doesn't hit.
Very
No, it doesn't hit.
disrespectful because I was a
agree.
little drummer boy in the school play.
Damn,
Oh,
Stewie.
man.
Cute,
Wow.
Stewie.
P1,
I'm
P2.
totally joking.
Yeah.
Oh, you are?
I knew Katie was gonna believe me.
But they
I
are.
wanted to see the pictures.
Me too.
Tyler, the
Big
Creator.
great Halloween.
So that's on the playlist. A little bit of everything. A little bit of T Swift. A little bit of Elvis. A little bit of U2.
Okay, you're dropping a lot of Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
It's
he
a
loves
big week
Taylor
for
Swift.
her.
Oh shit! It's been a hard week.
I know.
I mean,
T
like
Swift
the
fan.
fiasco of tickets.
I mean, that's on her. She knows that Ticketmaster is a
I don't think
clusterfuck.
it's her.
I do.
But
Well,
she's dealing. I mean,
okay, Swifty,
people.
settle down
Her
over there.
people.
at this point, she has to know the reputation of Ticketmaster,
Yeah. You
Yeah.
think.
right? I mean, like, and someone of her magnitude has to be like, we're not dealing with
But
Ticketmaster.
surely she doesn't
She
have anything
can-
to do with us.
That's it
Katie.
sounds like
That's
every
okay.
other I think Taylor Swift fan because I was
I
also
don't-
that wasn't even
I'm
the
not a
biggest
Taylor
thing.
Swift fan, though.
Before the
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, she's fine, but I don't like.
I
listening
would
To her
the biggest thing that caught me
There's
was
a reason she can't hold on to a boyfriend.
they
Lloyd with the therapy.
Wow. I mean,
she's been with the same guy for like 8 years now. Okay.
Single it at home.
wow, bitch, keep breaking up with people. Hey, all roads point to one person.
Okay.
You seem to be the problem.
Shots fired. Wow. I didn't-
Yeah.
my biggest thing wasn't even the Ticketmaster thing. Like, I'm at that point when I saw those prices.
I know they were ridiculous.
That is the dumbest thing, and I
Yeah.
don't care if you were the Beatles or Elvis Presley coming back. $700
I
for
know.
a ticket.
That was stupid.
It is ridiculous.
T Swift coach.
And that's everyone says. Well, then everyone online or my friends have said, well, she has nothing to do with that. Come on, yes, she absolutely does.
No doubt about it.
No doubt about it.
She has to have somebody within her camp that say, "Yo, T, they're
Yeah.
going to sell these tickets for like
These tickets are
$700
gonna
pop."
sell.
and she has the right to be like, "No, we're not."
I
Yes.
guess.
Yes.
You know what I
Yes,
mean?
she
Like,
does.
Yeah.
She could say, I mean, there are bands out there. One of my favorite bands, U2. It's like they still do that. Like,
Absolutely.
we're not charging more than $50 for floor seats because these are our fans.
no doubt.
And
Shaquille O'Neal in his shoes.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm not charging anybody
It was
$120
shocking.
for shoes."
I
This is just
Have
crazy.
y'all seen the numbers of how much they're charging? Floor seats for the tour's March 17th opening night in Glendale, Arizona are going for as much as $17,000,
Who would
while
pay
floor
that?
tickets for Swift Show in Atlanta on April 28th are listed as much as $35,000.
Yeah.
Who?
We
would
had
pay
floor
that?
seats.
Who
We're
the fuck
looking.
does Taylor Swift think she is?
I
That's
don't
what
know.
I'm saying.
Well, those secondary markets.
Is this Michael Jackson?
Is it, yeah, coming back alive?
Tupac?
That's secondary market, which I think has been the problem with Ticketmaster.
Right.
Is
Right.
now all these people got in because they know they can do it,
Yeah.
and she hasn't toured in 7 years, and I think this is.
So did she rewrite the music that the dude stole from her, or not?
Yeah, she's
recut all those songs.
recording it. Yeah, so
Okay.
she
Did she have to change them up anyway, or they're like?
No, they're actually the two that she has released are actually surprisingly very similar, which is really nice. If people who know would say, well, her voice is matured or whatever, it sounds a little bit more richer. But
She's double dipping? She's
what
doing
happened?
like a greatest
No,
hits?
she's not double dipping because she doesn't own the rights.
she didn't
of
own
her,
the right. She didn't own the rights
of
to
her
the original
former
ones. Yeah.
records, like whoever her music company was.
Death Row?
Pretty much.
Shug.
Yeah, right.
Shug was working it from prison.
Yeah, so it's been like
That's
a wild
Swiftie.
week.
You tell Swifty she's mine.
Mark
Man.
Man.
She ain't getting out.
Yeah, you ain't getting out of this relationship, T.
So I think that's so all that to say is I think we need Christmas more than ever. We need to put up the decorations and get in
Because of Taylor Swift. And
because of all
Ticketmaster.
the fiasco.
How
and
many
everything
kids are going to be disappointed on Christmas they didn't get Taylor Swift
Well,
tickets?
Sophie wanted to do this
They
for
can
her
sell
16th
alone.
birthday in Houston because the concert is on her birthday. And I was like, yeah, we'll go. We'll take a few people. And I get online like when the tickets were on sale. And I was like, no. These tickets are $700 for like a shitty seat.
Yeah.
No.
And it's not, I
Can't
will
even
say
see
it's
her.
not just her. We did, I wanted, my wife is a big Harry Styles fan. And, I can get down. He's got some pretty good music.
Hey, Ray.
I like it. Yeah, I can. I'm not a huge
Yeah, like-
pop music guy, but I like that he seems like he actually plays his own instrument and it's music and it's not just kind of created on a computer.
He's entertaining too.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah, he is a
entertaining.
cool
Yeah,
guy.
and
Sex.
just like another good-looking human. Yeah.
Does he go by he?
That's a good question. I think Harry
They.
is.
I think,
He might be they.
probably.
I think he's
just
an
Harry.
it.
I think
Ah.
dressed
He's a
by
they.
So he's a they guy.
But
Yeah.
he was
He
the
is.
same way.
I
We
prefer
said, well,
him.
let's go. He's playing in Austin, and it was like $750 for a nosebleed seat. I said, well, that's the end of that
It's nuts.
because
Okay, so they them.
I mean,
those guys.
isn't inflation hitting everybody? I mean, like people can pay $750 for a nosebleed seat to go see this.
You know, 5 years ago,
Brit
before I
bark
was
into a
married,
microphone?
and if I was in school, like I might have foregone like a class. I would have taken that tuition money and maybe bought a ticket to something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Sure.
But no, it's like
No.
I'm not now. I don't have to. It's like these Taylor Swift. These guys like they don't feed my kid.
You're right.
You know, like they don't put shoes on my feet or pay for my heat or whatever. It's like while it's great entertainment, I also have the album, so I've given you that money, and I'll buy the DVD when it comes out. You know,
I'm not paying $700 a ticket if you're
For
gonna pull me up
anything.
on stage and let me sing a duet with you.
I know, right? Yeah. Oh, I told my wife, I said, I want to pay $700 if it came with the happy ending from Miss Swift.
I should just write a song about it.
I knew I loved you, Josh.
She goes, wow, even from. I said, I can't. Not that principal at that
You
point.
can't say that.
Yeah, principal at that
the
point.
truth, though.
That's right.
Yeah,
Skeleton
that's a lot.
body all over you. Ugh, weird hands.
See that? Your butcher has principles, people.
We're
Check
trying.
out Iverstine Farm.
Iverstine, last day. Get your sides. If you do your turkey, if you're a stickler about your meat and you like doing you have a big plan for your turkey or whatever, your brisket or whatever you cook in the holidays, let us take care of the sides, pre-order them, and just take that off
I'm
of
a
your
stickler
plate.
about my meat.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You have a lot of people coming out. Do you do Thanksgiving?
We're going to California, actually. So I won't be cooking.
I feel like you would be an excellent.
I have family there.
Can't go
Hello,
to
I'm
the
going
Swift concert. Sorry, daughter. We're going
Sorry.
to we're
I'm going to stay
Pebble
with
Beach
family.
again.
We're gonna cut our turkey in Malibu.
We're at in California.
You want a
San
redwood for
Francisco.
Christmas?
Oh,
I lived there in college, did an internship there, and my family still lives there. I don't
Valley
see them that often.
That'll be
Silicon
good.
Valley?
That'll be
excited.
nice. Yeah.
Mill Valley, actually, right outside of San Francisco.
Are you flying? You driving?
North California.
the Bay, baby.
Was that a dumb
She's
question?
flying private. Yeah, that'd be
I'm sorry. Coach first.
first.
Economy.
Fucking
Driving
steers
to
the plane.
California?
Private, you fuck.
Yeah.
My bad. My bad.
Real people drive, Katie.
A
Sorry,
car?
I didn't mean to look at you that way.
got a new
I couldn't
leer
even
on
process the question.
Sometimes, I mean, like, don't you like? I think of like a great like I can't wait to have
I
a
don't
great
wanna drive to
holiday. I had a
California.
Katie
holiday.
hasn't driven since 2006.
I don't drive over like
we
5
used to
hours.
have long road trips to see family in like Iowa and Wisconsin and stuff. So we'd be like 7-hour, car rides
In
for
the
holiday.
snow on holidays?
Yeah, and
Uphill both
it doesn't
ways?
matter.
Really?
No.
I'm going to Colorado in 3 weeks. The thing I'm stressing the most is driving in the snow.
No, it's
Are
not
you,
bad.
are you gonna fly or drive?
I'm flying there, but I have a car rented at the airport.
Okay.
Chains?
Should I?
No, it's
No.
not that
You-
bad.
are you
They
just
salt
gonna
the
be in
roads
Denver?
and-
Well, I'm staying like 30 miles outside of Denver, but I'd like to kind of, I'd like to go
To Denver.
dip around.
They
Not
salt
to
all
Denver,
the
kind of like
roads. It's fine.
the ski towns. I'm gonna go kind of drive to the ski.
Okay. Yeah, I
towns.
lived in Aspen. Beautiful. If you can make there.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I loved it.
Sunny Aspen.
Yes, of course.
Beautiful. Not the Rockies be a little rockier than this.
Yeah.
John Denver's full of shit.
Yeah, 2 great comedies referenced this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
we've been on it today.
You're creeping up though. A little bit today.
Right.
No dumb. Let's keep this. No dumb questions. Great quotes.
That's what I can do.
Don't ask for
Let's
much.
make
Don't
that
ask for
pivot.
much.
That's just with me in school.
Thank you for everybody's interaction. Make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button. The chili from Iverstines is fantastic. Go pick it up on this rainy, cold
I ate
weekend.
almost all of it.
I want to see the
Wow,
vodka.
look at that, Mike Roach. How about that,
Go,
Mike
go, go.
Roach? That's right.
David was able to
Hit
take
that
another
like
rib.
button, share button, comment button. Have a great weekend. We'll be back with you Monday. Go check out Uncle Earl's today, mic'd up.
Damn.
Yeah.
4:36. And stay till late. $100 bar tab. Blackout. UAB is not till 8 p.m.